with the coach this week, feels this is his best Bengals team he's ever had.
Yes, it does. You know, I think there's no really gaping hole when you look at this football team on both sides of the ball. They have some playmakers on each side. Of course, without saying, we'll talk about it a lot tonight, Andy Dalton, 5 years in, 5 years of experience, had his best year of his career by far. Not being in is a big deal for this Bengals team.
Got the cast off of the right hand, but not making any throws yet. He'll be reevaluated if their season continues early in the week. But Andy Dalton has to sit out and watch this one as A.J. McCarron will be starting for the 4th time. But we're going to begin with the Steelers receiving this kick. And all their playoff experience, you can't ignore that. Roethlisberger will be coming on the field with 10 all-time postseason victories, a couple of Super Bowl wins, a franchise so decorated with all of its incredible accomplishments, 6 Super Bowl titles in Pittsburgh history, and they're coming from the 6th position as they did 10 years ago this week when they came down here and won in a wild card game against the number 3 Bengals, and went on to not only win on this occasion, but become the first 6th seed to ever win a Super Bowl up in Detroit, Super Bowl 40.
Well, in the best group he's ever had around him since he's been a Steeler. His 12th year, this is the best offense he has had.
Mike Nugent drives this one all the way through the back of the end zone. No chance for Wheaton's return. So Roethlisberger, the first quarterback in NFL history, some of the things he does, I think, often get overlooked. To have 6 touchdown pass performances back-to-back games, the first NFL quarterback that ever had 2 500-yard passing performances. His line, Villanueva, what an emerging story for this young man out of West Point. 3 tours of Afghanistan. There is Toussaint, who gets to start now with D'Angelo Williams inactive with the ankle. Now, only twice this year did the Steelers take their first drive of the game down the field for a touchdown, and both of those times were the matchups against the Bengals. Here's a quick throw, and it comes over to Bryant, and he steps out after a gain of 5. Let's meet Paul Gunther's defense, the 2nd scoring defense in the NFL. Carlos Dunlap breaking through this year with 13.5 sacks. Perfect. And he is probably the #1 enemy of the Steelers on that opposite side. Reggie Nelson had 3 interceptions of Ben in the 2 games this year. Second and 6. Here is the handoff to Toussaint, and there is perfect to throw him down for a loss of a couple.
Well, Marvin Lewis said this before I even get in the game. You got to talk about Vontaze Burfict. When he's in that lineup, he changes their football team. He's so physical, emotional, very smart, makes a lot of plays, and makes a lot of what I would want to say solid tackles like we just saw that time. Maybe the word vicious is more like it.
Yeah. Hayward Bay comes in as an extra receiver on 3rd and 8. From the pocket, Roethlisberger, pump fake and throw, and off the hands of Hayward Bay. So no opening drive touchdown like the other 2 occasions against Cincinnati this year. 3 and out instead.
Yep, Adam Jones on the top of the screen. Marvin Lewis, again, just talking about him, the best year of his career. He has changed his football life, and you saw it right there. His technique, it's perfect. All over the receiver.
There's Jordan Berry's punt on the way. And a fair catch made by Adam Jones. He had only 1 fair catch all of the regular season. Although injured late in the year, he only had 1 return over the last month and a half of the season. He's always a threat. Here comes McCarron now. With the 3 starts to close out the regular season, entering the lineup after the first quarter of that matchup against Pittsburgh on December the 13th. Whitworth, we heard from, on his way to a 2nd Pro Bowl. A.J. Green in the 2 games again this year had a touchdown in each. Over 100 in both games against the Steelers. 41-yard punt by Berry has Cincinnati's first snap from the 36. McCarron Quick throw. It's a quick completion on the board to A.J. Green for 5. This Pittsburgh defense, now they're vulnerable against the pass. They'll turn you over, though. Tuitt's the one who picked off Dalton, and then Dalton fractured the thumb trying to make the tackle. High praise about Tuitt from Coach Tomlin in our meeting yesterday. Lawrence Timmons, a linebacking core featuring all first-rounders. And William Gay had a pick 6 in the matchup against the Bengals just 4 weeks ago. Here's the handoff to Hill. And the early contact by Shazier. Shazier has the tackle for no gain. Well, McCarron, it's a big spot for him to come into, but this is a young man who's accustomed to being on a big stage.
Yes, well, I think you said it right. A couple things. Take care of the football. That's always important for all quarterbacks, but especially young ones. He learned that at Alabama. He's transferred that here to the Cincinnati Bengals. And the offense, they said to us, we have everything in. Even though he's a young quarterback, we did not hold back on the game plan. Very important.
Start. Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So John Parry's crew will back him up 5 yards.
Well, they gave A.J. McCarron an easy throw to A.J. Green. Boy, a lot of A.J., so I got to be careful here tonight. But they got A.J. Green involved in the game with that short pass. We talked about how important it is for A.J. Green and McCarron to have a solid night.
Gio Bernard comes into the lineup. Here's Green to the near side on a 3rd and 11. Mohamed Sanu also enters the lineup. Here he is in motion. Pressure on McCarron, steps in front of it and is able to get it over to Eifert, who tried to fight for the first down yardage and stopped a yard short.
Nobody really open quick enough for A.J. McCarron. The one thing they want him to do tonight, they had to get out of the pocket because Bud Dupree forced him up. But this is to play spontaneously. In other words, just like that. It just move, feel it, and they want him to, if the opportunity is there, to run with the football more than he has so far in those first starts.
Kevin Huber to punt to the dangerous Antonio Brown, who has 4 career punt return touchdowns, 3 of them against Cincinnati. And he'll try the return. Slips by the first contact. Brought down shy of the 20. 42-yard punt, and Roethlisberger's coming back out. Each team 3 and outs to get this one started. There's Andy Dalton having a little chat with McCarron, trying to coach up his backup. Second series coming up for the Steelers now from the 19. And Toussaint this time has a lane and gets about 9 running behind Alejandro Villanueva.
Well, that kind of brings up what I want to talk about when you talk about what they're trying to accomplish tonight. You look at Ben Roethlisberger, he's got such great control of the football, Jim, that his decision-making has been too aggressive down the field, has led to interceptions. Now, the Bengals, they're hoping they can keep the defense back to stop all the pass receivers and not let runs like we just saw to Toussaint happen. So that'll be the big chess match, or a couple of the big chess matches here tonight.
You see Heath Miller moving into a slot. There's a pass play for the, well, did he get the first down? Forward progress, they're going to have it. Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown coming off a 136 catch season and a 3-year span, the most catches in a 3-year span in the history of the league.
You look at him, it's not an accident when you see all these numbers by Antonio Brown. They design a lot of plays for him. We see a lot of screens, but as Ben Roethlisberger told us, he can run short, deep, a tremendous catcher of the football because he works at it so hard.
Did not have a 100-yard game in either matchup against the Bengals. That pass sails over the head of Martavis Bryant. As Mike Tomlin's brought the Steelers to the playoffs for the 6th time in his 9 years. 97 career wins overall. If he could catch fire like the team did 10 years ago under the leadership of Bill Cowher, that would be 100, getting him to the Super Bowl. This is Brown, and he battles for about 5 before Iloka bumps him out.
Well, what do you want to do? You want to get the football to Antonio Brown. Watch from the outside. You see all the blockers coming inside, and he breaks to the out. Good block by Heath Miller. You know, you talk about Mike Tomlin likes his football team. What did he say to us last night? We're scarred.
In the right ways. In the right ways.
In the right way. Yeah. We can deal with adversity, and they're not afraid of losing. So they play fast and loose.
3rd and 5. And that's Miller, and they collapse in on him and hold him short of the first down. Mauluga and others.
Kind of tells you what this the Pittsburgh offense thinks about the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be a screen inside to Heath Miller. So that's about the 4th or 5th screen we've seen here to start the game. Why are they doing that? Because you have to honor the defensive pass rush by the Cincinnati Bengals. They have 4 guys who can get to the quarterback.
Pretty good rain now falling here as Brandon Tate is back deep. Not Jones this time.
Defense looks fast for the Cincinnati Bengals here tonight. That's what they said. We are fresh, healthy, and ready to go.
A lot of hang time with this one. Tate, there is a flag thrown in. Jamarco Thomas was a little too close to the returner. It's a 44-yard punt.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team, 15-yard penalty. First down. Timeout on the field.
John Parry's all-star crew, not the only ones who saw that. There was A.J. McCarron on the sideline saying, hey, give me an extra 15 yards to start this next drive. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Batman versus Superman from Warner Brothers Pictures in theaters March 25th, and by the all-new 2016 Honda Civic. The bicycle playing card's been produced here in this area for over 130 years. Here we go now with the penalty, bringing them out to the 29, and Jeremy Hill called on first down and clogged up for a loss of 1 by James Harrison. Tracy addressed it with Andrew Whitworth, and that's all you hear about with the Bengals' misfortunes in the postseason. The Bills have gone 20 seasons without a postseason victory. Lions 24, and now you see Cincinnati 24 seasons. Pass to the sideline, and it's caught by Marvin Jones, and a gain of 13.
Marvin Jones looks like he gets both feet down. How about the cushion that time that William gave Marvin Jones? And that's why A.J. McCarron can make some of these throws down the field because of the soft defense or pass defense by the Steelers.
How much do you think that playoff drought weighs on the mind of these players?
Well, it bothers them during the week. They get sick of hearing it, but Jim, I've been in some situations like this. When the game starts, man, you react and you play.
There's a flag thrown.
False start. Offense number 77. The defensive end did not get into the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Second false start call against the Bengals. And never miss a playoff moment with the CBS Sports app. Every play, score, all the information from a wild card weekend through the championship. Download the CBS Sports app now. CBSSports.com/mobile. In fact, both of those pre-snap calls have come against Whitworth. And it's a 1st and 15. And another one on the field, another marker. And it's a pickup of 7. We'll see if the catch by Green will hold up.
Play game defense. Action within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty replay. First down. There is no play.
James Harrison moving a lot. Here's 92. Well, he's faking the snap. Little move there. He's got Whitworth twice. Now, James Harrison had very good success rushing the passer when they played a few weeks ago against Andrew Whitworth. I'm sure that's why Whitworth is on edge.
4 receivers stacked to the right, Eifert to the left. McCarron was wanting to go to his tight end and now forces the throwaway. So they load up 4 to the right, and they tried to get that one-on-one matchup for Eifert.
Mike, you know, we see all these different formations and plays by the Bengals, and they enamor us as announcers, and the fans see it. And we talked to Mike Mitchell, the safety for the Steelers last night, and he goes, well, he looked at us and laughed. He goes, clutter. Not worried about it. It's not part of the game. You got to just, they're going to do a few odd things during the game. We're ready for it. Just be ready to stop their real offense when they run.
Here comes a blitz on McCarron. Shakes off the hit. Now looking for a place to go, and the Steelers will get credit for the sack. It's Harrison. And a loss of a couple. That was Timmons who blew past the line of scrimmage. Looked like it might be a big loss at first.
Lawrence Timmons is playing tremendous as a linebacker, stopping the run pass, but his blitzing inside of late of this year has been tremendous. Having great success. Gets McCarron out of the pocket. And the other linebackers all can run. They'll clean up the mess.
Timmons to the sideline for this 3rd and 12. And they set up screen. Tight end screen to Eifert. Spin move and another one. And he's got the first down. Takes a couple of Pittsburgh players with him all the way to the 45. Pirouettes twice to try to find that first down yardage, and he got it.
Watch the 2, right guard, right tackle. Good block on the outside by Eifert. The defense, they're playing the 3rd and long. Everybody's so far back, they can't react fast enough, and Eifert, look, tight end, very good athlete, gets the extra yards.
First time either side has been past midfield, and Hill, with his 3rd carry, he has been contained each of the 3 times he's carried it. A loss of 1 that time. Heroic, emotional, and heartbreakingly real. A powerful new Code Black you won't want to miss Wednesday at 10, 9 Central. Only CBS.
Well, so far when you watch the Steelers defense, it has its problems against the pass. Very good against the run because everybody throws the ball a lot of times against them, but the linebackers are active, and right now they're winning the battle against the Bengals.
2nd and 11. McCarron threads it to Eifert with 2 Steeler defenders right around him. Shazier and Blake were there, but it's a gain of 8 for Cincinnati.
Well, Eifert's taken some big hits against his team, hadn't he, Jim? And in right between the 2 defenders, it looks legal. Blake hits him in the chest with the shoulder. That's clean, and then Shazier from behind. So, look, they're all looking at the quarterback. So when you catch the football down the field, you have to know that they're going to be closing fast on the defensive side.
Now, Eifert was concussed in the game here December 13th by Mitchell and had to miss a couple of games after that. 3rd and 3 for the Bengals. And it falls incomplete. Well covered that time by Robert Golden, as McCarron was trying to feed it again to Eifert.
Yep, Golden all over it, reading the quarterback. That's what he did. He didn't read the receiver. The whole time he was looking at A.J. McCarron. Look, nothing against A.J. McCarron. Young quarterback, very little experience, and they're going to react to the first thing he looks at in this game. That's one thing I've heard from the Steeler players and the coaches.
4th and 3, they will not entertain the idea of a 56-yard field goal attempt. Harriman is the up back here. Huber standing near midfield. Takes something off of this one. He gets the great bounce down to the 6. And it's covered up by Tate. So the Steelers will start back at their own 6-yard line. Tonight's Next Gen Stats are brought to you by Tostitos. Bring the party. Huber for the 2nd time pinning the Steelers inside the 20. In fact, on this occasion, inside the 10. Pittsburgh breaks huddle with 3 tight ends. Miller joined by Spaeth and Jesse James. And it's Toussaint weaving through traffic, and he's got another first down carry that goes for 9. That's how they began the last series, with a 9-yard run by the back from the University of Michigan, raised in northern Ohio in the Youngstown area. Played at Michigan in front of Thomas Rawls, who broke on the scene at Seattle this year.
Mike Tomlin has faith about what Toussaint can do, likes everything. Pass blocking, just has a great feel for the game. That's why he started.
2nd and 1, but he is hammered this time. Maualuga's off to a great start in this game, and Iloka was the one who hit him first.
Iloka comes from the outside. You have to see when the safety's up there blitzing, you got to get a wide receiver or somebody over there to slow him down, because they're going to chase it from behind and make the play.
Toussaint seeing this action because of the injuries at this position. Le'Veon Bell blew out his knee against the Bengals in the first matchup. Dree Archer, D'Angelo Williams out this game after just a super year of taking over for Bell. He's out with an ankle. 3rd and 2. Looking for options. Flags are out as Toussaint takes off. And finally, Nelson ends it near the 40.
What a job by Roethlisberger. The offensive line, the extra time. He just stood there, didn't move, didn't panic, and waited for Toussaint to come open.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 55. Penalties declined. Resulting play, first down.
Boy, Toussaint did not have a catch all regular season. This one goes for 27.
The initial protection is outstanding. Toussaint helping Villanueva at left tackle, and what a big hit. Wallace Gilberry, an excellent 3rd down pass rusher from inside and outside for the Bengals defense.
First down, Toussaint. And he's got all the yardage on this drive that again started at the 6 and now has moved across the 45. Williams with 907 yards. Go with 11 touchdowns. Bell, that injury back on November 1st. Toussaint, 42 yards in the regular season. We saw Williams on the sideline. Todman's in the backfield on 2nd and 4. Here's his first carry. Nice cut. And again, what a move. Finally, Nelson shoves him into the bench.
Look at that, Keith Butler getting into it on the sideline.
Here we go.
No, I'm sorry, that's Mike Munchak, the offensive line coach. With Reggie Nelson. But what a cut by Todman to get that big play inside, takes it outside, picks up the extra yards.
Well, there is a flag, and the mass of people over there.
We were wanting to make sure the players kept everything under control. We forgot to say the coaches too.
Tomlin going to keep his crew back. This was a hit that certainly rankled Mike Munchak. Nelson, and I don't know if the flag is going to be first on Nelson or some reactionary flag as well. There's the Hall of Famer, Mike Munchak.
Yep, and I was just going to talk about what a job.
The ruling on the field is a first down, and after the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. The coach pushed the player. The down will count. 15-yard penalty, first down, Pittsburgh.
See what a job he's done with this offensive line this year. With the cut, Todman gets pushed outside.
No flag for that.
And, yeah, Munchak actually grabbed Reggie Nelson and kind of threw him towards the bench. That's what they saw.
Did you think it was a late hit on Nelson? As he shoved Todman out of bounds. We bring in Mike Carey. Mike?
No, it started inbounds and just continued out of bounds. I think the way they handled it was very well. Now it's time to settle everything down.
So they get the first down, but then they subtract the 15, brings them all the way back to the 46. 1st and 10 from here. It's Todman on the pitch, and he's got a nice run.
Boy.
Todman for 9.
Comes in and out of bounds. There's Munchak. They running each other. Could have been, maybe it's not the action, Jim. It could have been the fact that there was some words said, who knows what. That'll settle everybody down, that penalty. That'll settle both sides down, knowing that the officials, they're going to call this tight, and rightly so.
2nd and 1. Toussaint has the first at the Cincinnati 40.
Well, you're worried about the pass. You think, well, Pittsburgh doesn't have the running backs. Not enough guys up there to stop the run. Pittsburgh doing a good job.
By the way, they had 50 yards rushing in the quarter, which has come to a close without a score in that quarter. 0-0 after 1. Back for the second quarter in Cincinnati. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, Mike Carey. There's the rushing yards you talked about. 50 in that first quarter on 8 attempts. And we start the second with Pittsburgh driving. 8th play of this drive coming up that began back at the 6. Todman bounces around, is able to fall forward for 1. Malaluga has hold of him, and one more look at what happened here.
I think at first it started, let me protect you, then all of a sudden
Munchak had hold of his hair.
Yeah, he had the hair too, which is not a penalty. Oh, for the players.
Second and 9. Draw. Todman up the middle. Malaluga tripped him up. Tracy, down to you.
Jim, speaking with some people down here on the sideline before the game, I was told the officials did not bring up the chippiness before with any player or coach, but that Executive Vice President of Football Operations for the NFL, Troy Vincent, did reach out to each coach. Also, the NFL issued a memo to all officials, especially this crew, to make sure they keep the emotions of these teams under control, Jim.
Good stuff, Tracy. And again, this is not John Perry's crew he worked with during the season. It's an all-star crew, but Perry was the referee in that game between these two, December 13th, that led to over $140,000 in fines. 3rd and 6, and they get to him. It's Nelson who's hobbling after making the sack.
Well, what you do, you have 5 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers and a tight end, nobody there to protect you. Here comes the blitz, and what's always the key about the blitz? It's space the players out, time it right, done very well by the Bengals.
Well, Nelson got his leg caught under him. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor only at Pizza Hut. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide is going to be trimmed down to 3 finalists before the big announcement at the NFL Honor Show on CBS February 6th. Congratulations to the players designated from the teams tonight. Cameron Hayward, who is the Steelers United Way representative, and Carlos Dunlap of the Bengals, who does a lot here to help those breast cancer survivors in the Cincinnati area. As you see, Nelson is getting help to the sideline. He has always tormented Roethlisberger in his career. 3 picks I mentioned earlier just this season alone. 6 overall.
It's a big deal.
Yes, it is. And Barry's punt gets the fair catch from Brandon Tate. May have been a collision for Nelson as he was getting hold of Roethlisberger on the sack. And his own player appeared to have stepped on him. It was Vincent Ray.
First down. Timeout.
By the way, a holding penalty, too, on the punt receiving team. So the Bengals backed up. Monday, don't miss an all-new Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He's got Angel from Hell star Jane Lynch, and then, of course, James Corden, all-new Monday, CBS. So the fair catch had come right between the 12 and 13-yard line. It was a penalty against Cincinnati, and half the distance has them beginning near the 7 with Hill. Dupree, the rookie first-rounder, on his back right away after a gain of 2. It did not look good as Reggie Nelson was helped to the Cincinnati locker room. Could not put any weight, really, to speak of.
Watch his left foot. Steps on Vincent Ray, his teammate, as he came through. Watch it turn there. Oh, boy, it really does. You could see the twisting left ankle.
Taking him right to the x-ray room. 2nd down and 8. As McCarron goes underneath to Sanu. And could not get away from Brandon Boykin. But a gain of 5. 3rd and short coming up for Cincinnati.
Boy, A.J. McCarron, they said a lot of nice things about him. They're so glad he's got the experience at least going into this playoff game. And you need it. We saw a young quarterback for Cleveland last week. Austin Davis, this Steelers defense with the linebackers when they want to be this creative, all the blitzing, all the looks. Hard for a young quarterback to make all the changes, the audibles to get you into the right play.
Rain on and off here at the Jungle as the Bengals have a 3rd and 3. Only 1 catch so far in the game by A.J. Green for a mere 4 yards. That's to Eifert. Look out. Coming up was William Gay, who had a pick 6 against McCarron on the opening drive of the second half back 4 weeks ago.
It was about exactly that position and almost that type of throw. So, yeah, you got to deal with this defense and all the looks. Now you got to deal with the weather. But they got up there. They fake blitzed. They dropped out, confused the quarterback. He did the right thing, get rid of it quick.
Had Eifert caught it, he still would not have had enough for the first.
No, he would not. They were closing fast.
6 total drives in this game. And now the 6th punt. It's Huber. He's going to get a good number off of this one. As it finally dies near the 35. 51-yard punt. In a scoreless game here in Cincinnati. Let's take a look at next-gen stats presented by Tostitos, and let's talk formation.
Well, here you go. The Steelers, what do they do the best? They have 1 running back, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Look at the yards they get when they go against the whole league. What do they get against the Bengals? Much tougher. The Bengals know this offense. They have good defensive backs. They can cover. And we've seen that here tonight.
That's Toussaint for 2. Maualuga on another tackle, and with Nelson out, Cincinnati has brought in Sean Williams at safety, his 3rd year out of Georgia. He had a interception in the first matchup this season against the Steelers.
That's right. I'll say this one more time. Maualuga and Burfict are everywhere. And Marvin Lewis just said when you put the 2 of them in there together, it just changes their defense, changes the personality of the team, and they've made a lot of plays here tonight.
2nd and 8. Play action. And Roethlisberger saw this had no chance. Heath Miller was in the area.
Up screen to even Heath Miller. How about, here we go, perfect. Right off the start of the game just says, here I am. And then how about Maualuga? He's done this about 3 times. Just crushes the screens to the outside, making them worthless. And then Maualuga just overpowers Cody Wallace, gets in the backfield with Iloka and makes the tackle. So, see, I saw it and we showed it to you. That's how they're playing.
Both teams are 1 of 4 on 3rd down. This is a 3rd and 8 for the Steelers. Green's coming down pretty strong. Roethlisberger's throw in the area of Wheaton, incomplete.
Took too long. Ben Roethlisberger, he knows he's played against the Bengals enough. Wheaton to the outside against Adam Jones. Nice job, sells it in, sells it out. But the football's gone because, like I said, took too long. He knows that pass rush is coming.
Brandon Tate back at the 18-yard line. Here's Barry. This is returnable. Got by Thomas, and then was met by Moats near the 30. 44-yard punt as McCarron comes out. He's 6 out of 9 for 55 yards. The playoffs began down in Houston with the Chiefs just annihilating the Houston Texans from the get-go. They scored 11 seconds into the game on the Nile Davis 106-yard kick return. We are now fumble and fallen on right away by McCarron. We're 19 minutes into this game with no points.
Well, let's see. Let me make an observation here. The Knight got to stay in there. The rain, yeah, he's under there. The football just a little off center. But the defenses, Jim, we talked during commercials, and both look fast, fresh, tough on both quarterbacks so far. It's one thing. Paul Gunther, defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, says we're physical, we're healthy, and we've seen that so far against Ben Roethlisberger.
2 first downs produced by Cincinnati, 4 by the Steelers, and a 2nd and 11. McCarron. They've got him, and the ball is on the ground, and Bowling is there to fall on it. So 2 straight plays. Cincinnati has the ball come out of their hands for a moment. There's a loss of 12 here. Hayward was the one who knocked it out.
Yeah, they moved the line. They switched positions. It gave Cameron Hayward the edge to come all the way around. C97 caught A.J. McCarron. Really, it happened so fast, caught him by surprise, and one of the reasons why he fumbled. He had 2 hands on the football also, so you can't say it was bad mechanics by the quarterback.
3rd and 23. You could smell draw coming all along. It's Bernard to the 31. Helps change a little bit of the field position as he gets some of the loss back. That's a rush of 14 for Bernard.
Well, everybody involved with this football, the snappers, the holders, the kickers. You know, Jim, it's raining now. So I don't care how much you've rubbed those footballs up and how good they feel. With this type of rain, it's going to cause a problem.
Hubert for the 4th time. Brown steps up to field it and falls after just a couple of yards. Approaching the midway point of the 2nd quarter. Defensive battle it is here in the rain on a Saturday night in Cincinnati. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Find your agent at statefarm.com. Right along to training day is over. It opens this Friday. And by the Lincoln Motor Company and the entirely new Lincoln MKX.
Well, boy, I hope Tracy Wolfson brought her rain gear.
No kidding.
Sorry, Tracy. It's nice and warm up here.
Reminds her of a few Saturdays down in the SEC.
Yeah.
Days of yesteryear. 1st and 10. Toussaint. He's got 4. On Super Bowl Sunday, Pepsi presents the biggest concert of the year, the Pepsi Super Bowl 50 halftime show. And for the first time ever, Pepsi is giving fans exclusive behind-the-scenes access as the show comes together. Go to Pepsi.com for more details.
Pittsburgh was hoping to run the football well enough to keep the defense honest. They've done that. They cannot get their passing game going.
Well, here he is to throw on 2nd and 6. He's got Antonio. There is a flag out as Kirkpatrick does a nice job of cutting off the angle and bringing down Brown after a gain of 4.
Saw a flag come down. You look at this, you think, well, which quarterback has the advantage in this rain?
Prior to the pass being thrown, illegal contact, defense number 58. 5 yards from the previous spot.
So we brought it up quite a bit to both teams. A.J. McCarron didn't think it was going to be a big deal, and all the Steeler coaches said, hey, our guy's a mutter. And, you know, that means we've seen Ben Roethlisberger play in a lot of bad weather over the years, and his motion, the way he throws, it's all really, truly so pure that this rain and not getting a great grip on the football, I don't think it will hinder his throwing that much.
He wears a glove on his left hand, not his throwing hand. Here's a first down give to Sant. Brought down by Michael Johnson for no gain.
This Bengals defense, too, under Paul Gunther, who, by the way, is going to interview for a head job, I think, tomorrow also.
Yeah, with Cleveland.
But they're talented, and they can wait to the last second to move and shift, and they can even, and I've seen it in the 2 games, they've confused Ben Roethlisberger, 4 or 5 times where he's thrown to the wrong guy just because of great disguise by the defense.
2nd and 10. Again, that defense without arguably its quarterback and Reggie Nelson out with an injury in this one. Roethlisberger bodies around and he's hit from behind. Geno Atkins hammers Roethlisberger for a loss of about 5.
Pass protection is good. 97, they push him behind the quarterback. That's what you want. But nobody open down the field.
And a penalty marker came down well after the play had ended.
Well, that was a big hit, wasn't it?
Well, Atkins, one of the best at doing that. He tied for the most sacks by any interior defensive lineman in the league this year, on his way to a 4th Pro Bowl.
Bengals are getting shoving matches by the...
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 94. 15-yard penalty from the...
That's on Domata Peko.
Saw a few guys in there shoving. I don't think I'd shove Domata Peko. First off, you couldn't move him if you hit him with a truck. So, but there you go. They're making up. So that's...
But just after your defense comes up with the big play, the unsportsmanlike call brings the Steelers to the other side of the 50 and a new set of downs.
Coverage by the Bengals defensive back so far has been outstanding. We've seen Roethlisberger plenty of time, just can't find anybody open where to throw it.
Peko's teammates were getting on him. That's why you saw the embrace trying to make up, and it's batted down by Dunlap.
Sometimes the best thing you can do against a quarterback.
Hey, on the penalty at bottom of the screen, Bengal with the cape on. It was Peko.
Yeah,
he came onto the field and shoved the Steeler in the back.
Wow, well, he's protecting his teammate, but we talked about it from the beginning. That's a good call and just a bad play by him. No other way to say it. Took away a really good play by the defense and gets the Steeler in good field position.
And 2nd and 10 to Wheaton. Got him by the ankles and the ball's down. And I think Cincinnati has the recovery. Cincinnati football. Recovered by Iloka. Perfect had the hit that got the ball out of the hands of Marcus Wheaton.
We are seeing playoff defense out here tonight so far.
And really, it wasn't anything to do exactly with perfect. It's just that Wheaton lost control of it.
We do have technical difficulties out at the stadium right now. Paul Brown Stadium, the Bengals taking over here. 2nd and 12. A.J. McCarron dropping back to pass. Incomplete. As we await to find out exactly what the problem is at Paul Brown Stadium on site. You can see that the Bengals are having trouble on 3rd down. And all right, let's go back to Jim Nantz as we finally restored the connection. Back to Jim Nantz at Paul Brown Stadium.
I want to apologize for that brief technical glitch. We lost power up here in the booth for a couple of plays, but we pick it back up now with the 3rd down on the way.
Just missed some of my best work. Shoot.
3rd and 13. McCarron goes down the field, and it is intercepted by Blake. And Blake makes a nice move to get away from a couple of Cincinnati players, and finally brought down by Bernard at the 40.
You got to respect the defense, but A.J. McCarron, you got to respect the score in this rain. He tries to throw the football deep down the field. Little out and up. It's not open, and it's badly underthrown, and it's underthrown for the main reason, just the rain. The football does not come out of his hand cleanly, and it ends up about 10 yards short of where he wanted it to go.
He had not thrown an interception in his 3 starts. Again, he had picked up action for the last 3 quarters of that matchup against the Steelers and had thrown a couple of picks in that one, but not another one until now. Toussaint cuts back to the left and brings it to about the 37.
How about Toussaint? I mean, isn't it amazing, Jim, when you think about it? You go, oh, it just shows you how many good players. That right there, he looked quick, fast, good decision, made the cutback, and picked up good yards.
Bryant to the right, Antonio Brown to the left. The 2nd and 6. Todman now has come into the backfield. And hold on a minute here. Timeout called by Cincinnati. Now that McCarron throw, he's not wearing a glove.
No.
I know you have been one that believes in that.
Well, listen, we asked him about the glove, and he goes, you know, it's fine. He said all these things, but it only takes one little throw where it sticks to your hand or it doesn't come out the way you want, and that scares you from wearing it. But I don't know if he's worked a lot with it, but I think it's a situation, go to the sideline, check it out, test it out, and see if you like it and go with it.
There you go.
Here you
How
go.
about that?
Boy, Jim, you're right on it. He's going to put these gloves on. And
I watched him throw yesterday in the rain.
yes,
And it was a struggle.
it was a struggle, yes. You were in practice yesterday.
Going to have to go to it. 2nd down, handoff to Todman, who has made some explosive runs when given the chance, and he's got another 8.
Well, as Mike Tomlin would say, he's a slasher. There's the Heath Miller gets the edge. You can see that he just waits and then has that ability just to jump it outside and pick up the yards. And here we are. Everybody's asking, well, what's Pittsburgh going to do for a running game? And we're trying to talk about it. You see what the 2 running backs have done so far. Running the football, not the problem. Getting receivers open. That's the problem for the Steelers.
1st and 10. This time only 1. Mauluga there to meet him. Tomorrow on CBS, as you see a flag come down, what does Vladimir Putin's war in Syria look like? 60 Minutes goes to the front lines to find out. Plus, after 30 years on death row, follow a wrongly accused prisoner as he becomes a free man. 60 Minutes tomorrow, only CBS.
After the play, personal foul, offense number 73. 15-yard penalty, the down counts, 2nd down.
This one on Ramon Foster.
Well, number 73, Ramon Foster, shoves.
Yeah, perfect.
Right there in the middle of your screen, pushes him late. And are you surprised there's a flag thrown with that? I'm not. You understand the situation. You knew it before the game. Jim, you showed the officials at the 50-yard line, making sure there was going to be no altercations. The players should have seen it. And should know the flag is going to be thrown.
2nd and 25. And Roethlisberger goes down the field. Open is Brown. And he's got the catch near the 20.
Beautiful throw.
Sean Williams was back there defending. Williams in the game for Nelson.
There's a guy underneath and then one deep. And Ben Roethlisberger, well, he answers some questions. Beautiful touch on the football down the field in the rain. That's what he told us last night. Don't look at Antonio Brown as just a guy that catches a lot of short passes and screens. Tremendous route runner. Good example right there.
He picks up 23. And it's a 3rd and 2. Got to get to the 19. Here comes the blitz. Perfect over the top. Pass. There was contact. Adam Jones defending. No flag intended for Antonio Brown.
A lot of contact, but Sean Williams is safety. He had his eye out looking for this type of route. You know, Adam Jones in pretty good position, and I would say that's a good no call.
Gonna have a field goal attempt coming up. Chris Boswell, first-year kicker out of Rice University down in Houston. And what a signing he's turned out to be. Brought up October 3rd, made 29 field goals during the regular season. This from 39 out. And the kick by Boswell, center cut. First points of the night. 39-yarder by Boswell. Comes after the interception by Blake. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM. IBM Watson can help us outthink our biggest challenges. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Let's take a look at our nationwide Skycam on a gray, rainy night here in Cincinnati with 2:27 to go in the first half. Adam Jones is the deep returner. Pearman just in front of him. And Jones watches that one fly over his head. Andy Dalton, Phil, we got more pushing and shoving up here near the 20-yard line, and the officials step in quickly. But Andy Dalton was having his best year ever. He had the best quarterback rating of anyone in the AFC, second in the league overall to Russell Wilson, and then broke the thumb trying to make a tackle after throwing the pick against Tua of the Steelers back December the 13th.
Yeah, I think some of the attention of this football game went away when Andy Dalton wasn't the starter, because the story about him not winning a playoff game, you can't have it there if he's not starting. But I'll just say this, Jim, real quick. When you're hurt, especially as a quarterback in this situation, it was almost where Peyton Manning was last week. We didn't quite get to it, but you feel ostracized. You're not part of the team, no matter what you do. And it has to be a terrible, of course, we know it's a terrible feeling for Andy Dalton right now.
Would have been a terrible feeling for A.J. McCarron had Shazier held on to that one.
But that's the way the league is. It moves on. The team is behind A.J. McCarron. And I'll say this also real quick. Just watching that throw, those gloves helped a lot. I mean, the ball came out of his hand cleanly, had a little power on it.
It's got to be strange to him to come in and now resort to the gloves after throwing the interception in game action. Knowing you weren't comfortable enough to start the game with it. Now, see what he has on this pass. 3rd and 6 on the way. 2:02 to go. By the way, the Steelers have 3 timeouts if they're able to make a stop here. Pass got a little high. No doubt about that. It was intended for A.J. Green. That have anything to do with the gloves? That one being high?
He threw it where he wanted to. He threw a lot of these in the first game against the Steelers when he came in. That was just a little off target.
Bengals are going to punt coming out of the 2-minute warning. Very short work once again on that last possession as Huber hits the ground. There is no flag, and the fair catch is made at the other end by Antonio Brown. It's been a very quiet first half for A.J. Green.
It has, and I know they'll go in at halftime, and they're going to have to make some adjustments and find ways to get him the football open there. And sometimes you think, right here, you say, well, he's open, but if the quarterback looks that way, Jazier, number 50, is going to get there. You got to move him around, get different formations, and we know Hugh Jackson's on the sideline. He has that play sheet you look at, and there's a big section of it that just says A.J. Green, because they have a lot of plays specifically just for him.
He did not play in last year's postseason game, a loss at Indianapolis, out with a concussion that came from a hit by Mike Mitchell late in the year. 51-yard punt sets up the Steelers back at the 25, and then the little throw to Toussaint, and he's got 16. Let's go down to Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. As you mentioned, Fitzgerald Toussaint, well, I was told that he was going through the concussion protocol, but he is out there right now, so looks to be good for Fitzgerald Toussaint, Jim.
He's made some plays. He definitely has. 10 carries for 38. And now 2 catches for 43 for Toussaint. That's Heath Miller. He had 10 catch performances in both games this year. Kirkpatrick gets up limping on the tackle. And the clock runs down inside of 1:30, Phil.
Yeah, it does. Good. Not a big rush here by Ben Roethlisberger. Doesn't need to because he has 3 timeouts. But that's why Heath Miller catches a lot of passes. He blocks, then releases. The defense drops back.
Yeah,
Ben Roethlisberger throws it short.
The officials stop the action because Kirkpatrick has now fallen to the ground. They've already lost, of course, a hugely valuable part of their secondary on Reggie Nelson. And now the first rounder out of Alabama from back in 2012, pointing to his left leg. Cincinnati charged a timeout. The Bengals have 1 remaining. The Verizon halftime report is coming up with JB and all the team. Pat Kerwin giving a little of his special insight to Boomer. There's Bart, Coach Coward, Tony Gonzalez. They're getting set for the Verizon halftime report.
Well, Pat knows a lot, and I know this too. Sometimes you called it the rubber match. Here it is tonight. When you play a team 3 times in 1 year, it's hard to show them anything they haven't seen or prepared for. You know each other physically. Hard to win some of those one-on-one battles. I think it's a big reason why we have a 3-0 score here.
And again, they split the 2 regular season matchups. There is a slashing Brown looking for the sideline and finds it.
This is what they expected when you look at the Steelers offense. Ben Roethlisberger said, I know how they're going to play us. They're all going to drop back, and we're going to try to throw. Thought we'd have to throw a lot of short underneath crossers just like that. Coverage has been tight. That's the first one that's really been open for Roethlisberger.
It went for 11, and now Brown 4 catches for 40. Steelers still with 3 timeouts in the bank. Leon Hall came in for Kirkpatrick, by the way. Here's Roethlisberger standing in the pocket, and it's dropped by Toussaint. Could have had that one.
Could have got some yards. Everybody had their backs turned, and that was Vontaze Burfict against Toussaint out there with no help. That could have been a big, could have picked up 10, 15 yards. But again, looking down the field, hard to find that open guy when the
Todd
Bengals
Haley
defense plays man-to-man. Sorry, Jim. They've been all over the receivers, and Todd Haley keeps trying different formations and movements to help his receivers out.
2nd and 10 with 1:05 to play in quarter number 2. Chris Lewis-Harris has come in as an extra defensive back. Marker down at the line of scrimmage. Open in the middle of the field is Brown at the 27.
I think it's going to be an illegal formation. Martavis Bryant didn't line up on the line of scrimmage.
The play went for 17.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 73 was the end man on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Call it on Foster.
Yeah, but it's going to be the tackle. Look to the bottom of the screen. Here's the end man on the line of scrimmage. Wide receiver, that's a tackle. He's got to be up on the line of scrimmage to cover. The tackle did not. That's 78, Villanueva, but it's not his fault.
Takes off the 17-yard gain. Just received word from the Bengals bench that Nelson will not return. He's out for the remainder. 2nd and 15. Big Ben throws. Oh, what a hit. And holding on to it is Wheaton, and the flag is out. Sean Williams came in and absolutely pulverized the receiver, who somehow held on, and a gain of 24.
Well, he hit him way too high. We know that. The defenseless receiver. Roethlisberger protected.
Ruling on field is a catch. Personal foul. Defense, number 36. Half the distance to the goal. Hit on a defenseless player.
Around, right down the middle, you'll see, oh, the little stutter go. That's what caught Leon Hall. Just that little flinch by Wheaton. And here comes the hit. Hits the helmet with the shoulder. And you know what? When you hit high, it's tough for these defensive backs, but they're learning to protect each other, that receiver and themselves out there. But when you, even if it's close, they're going to throw the flag in a situation like that, and that was a good call.
Well, the call brings Pittsburgh to the 12.
What a route, though. What a throw by Roethlisberger.
Who's throwing again. And it's incomplete. Brown, the receiver. Ray on the coverage. And again, the Verizon halftime report is on the way. They'll have the video recap of Kansas City's impressive performance today in Houston. The Chiefs winning again. Now their 11th straight win.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was methodical. A lot of good play by the Chiefs. Defense was awesome, just like we're seeing in this game here tonight.
If Pittsburgh wins this one, Kansas City goes to New England. It's Cincinnati. And that would send the Chiefs out to Denver as Toussaint's held to no gain. And a timeout call here by Pittsburgh. Still two remaining.
Well, the rain looks like it's settled down a little bit. Just now drizzle, so that's going to make it a little easier for the players.
Cincinnati for the game has only 57 yards of offense, 11 coming in this quarter.
Pittsburgh 85. We've seen a couple big throws. Ben Roethlisberger getting the time overall. Had a blitz. Really, that was his fault. He has to get rid of it quicker on the one blitz where he got sacked. But getting that extra time to throw it down the field, we've seen some good completions here in the second quarter.
3rd and 10 from the 12. Here's Roethlisberger to the, oh no, it's short of the end zone. It's off the hands of Ray. Not sure where he was going with that one. It was only Vincent Ray in the area.
I think he had Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's trying to run the route where he comes inside and stops and goes to the back of the end zone. There he is. He's wide open. Well, I don't know if he's going to be wide open. Looks like there's a defender closing. Watch 84 staying up the seam.
Well, hit Ray's hands almost 10 yards in front of Antonio Brown. That brings Boswell back out. That's a big stop by the Bengals defense. 30-yard attempt coming up for Boswell.
Got away with the interception, that's for sure.
And the kick is good with 33 seconds to go. before halftime in a 6-0 Pittsburgh lead. Tomorrow it's big times in the Big Ten. The Buckeyes will be battling the Hoosiers here on the road to the Final Four. CBS Sports, Ohio State at Indiana tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern Time.
Well, of course, 33 seconds ago, down 6-0. Unless it is a really good return, you take a knee, you go in at halftime, and you kind of rethink what we're going to do to help out our young quarterback to get our offense going.
Well, I will say this about the second half. And the Bengals, with this playoff drought, if you just go the last 4 years, this is the first time ever the franchise has been in the playoffs 5 straight years. But in these 4 previous playoff appearances, the second half, the Bengals have been outscored 57-6.
Well, don't tell them that stat at halftime. That won't give them confidence. Trust me. But you know what you got to do? Hugh Jackson, offensive coordinator, Marvin Lewis, the head coach, you got to give some easy plays to A.J. McCarron and get him in the flow and get him confidence. For a young quarterback, even a veteran quarterback, he would do that. And we've talked about, and we've seen many times, the Steelers will give you some of those underneath throws.
I don't know, after this quarter alone, throwing the interception, fumbling 2 other times, although the Bengals recovered them both. It's exactly what I would have expected right here.
Oh, yeah.
Kneel down and on to the half. The home playoff teams haven't scored yet in 6 quarters.
Well, it's just the second game, but you're right. And what's the other stat that you told me about home? The quarterbacks are...
The visiting quarterbacks on Wild Card Weekend have 37 postseason starts. The home quarterbacks this weekend, the 4-0 before today. All right, Tracy, down to you.
Thanks a lot, Coach. It seemed like you started to get things going in the passing game, specifically on that last drive. What more do you need to do, though, in the second half?
We're moving the ball, but we're not finishing drives. You can't play good people and settle for field goals. It's a one-possession game because we're not finishing drives, so we've got to play better.
What can you say, though, about what your defense has done in that first half?
They just got to keep it up. We expected them to play well. We're not surprised by that. They got 30 more minutes to do it.
Thanks a lot. Jim?
Well, his defense held the Bengals to 2 first downs. 2. And a total of 56 yards. 6-0 Steelers at halftime. Back with the Verizon halftime report. After this message and a word from your local station, you're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Getting set for the start of the third quarter, the Steelers will be kicking the football to Cincinnati. Pepsi presents the Super Bowl 50 halftime show. What does it take to pull off a halftime performance? Find out how the crew makes the magic happen. Follow the journey only on Pepsi.com. We've got two of the seven highest scoring teams in the league, and they produce a total of 6 points in the first half. Field goals by Boswell of the Steelers. How can the Bengals get McCarron going here in the second half?
A lot of things. One, thought that the halftime show did a terrific job explaining some of the things, but A.J. McCarron, he's young, so I understand. He's got to help himself first. You can't look at one receiver and then throw it to that guy. That's why we've seen a couple plays where they've almost picked off the passes. They know he's young. He's going to look, and they're going to react to it, so look it off if you can. The coach has got to give him some easy throws, and I do believe the gloves are going to make him have more confidence if he wears them here in the second half.
And as you look at the numbers, let's also keep in mind he's getting no help at all from the running game, which you would have thought with two runners that had the seasons that they did. Bernard and Hill's a pretty powerful 1-2 punch. You see the numbers here. They had that one draw play on 3rd and forever that went for 14, but other than that, the Bengals had -4 yards on the ground.
I like what Boomer said. I thought it might be more of a factor. Spread the offense out. Giovanni Bernard, they're thinking pass, and give him some space to try to make people miss inside.
Here's a guy looking for space, Adam Jones. And he is hit by Vince Williams. Does not make it to the 20.
Well, the Pittsburgh defense, the different looks. Everybody watch him look at the quarterback. This is a good example. He didn't even see the receiver. Read A.J. McCarron the whole way. Now Shazier, what's he doing? Watching the quarterback. Almost gets the interception. So, okay. I know it's going to be tough, perfect conditions against any team in the NFL, but when playoff game, an athletic, fast defense, you got to help the young quarterback.
There's Hill for a couple. That gives him now 6 carries for -1 yard. And let's go down to Tracy.
Well, Jim, you guys mentioned it. I asked Marvin Lewis how they can help A.J. McCarron, and he said run the football, just 10 rushing yards in the first half. I also asked him how the rain is affecting McCarron. He said he cannot allow it to affect him. Jim?
Well, it's not raining quite as hard as it was most of that second quarter, but now look at Whitworth now, wide to the right as they set up a 3-man formation. 2nd and 8. And a quick toss hammered down right away. Marvin Jones hit by Gay. Picks up 5.
That was one of those formations trying to get some rhythm to the offense.
0-13, trailing at any point in the postseason all time.
The good thing is those first 2 plays makes it 3rd and very manageable, where a short throw is going to pick up the first down for A.J. McCarron.
Well, you got A.J. Green at the top. Gay is on him. Again, 1 catch for Green for 4 yards. Here's the 3rd and 3. McCarron goes on the run, and he hits his target. It's Sanu for the first down. Again, just the 3rd first down of the night.
Excellent job. Nobody is even close to being open, so this is what we said early. Just let your instincts take over. He's had a lot of snaps, played a lot in college, and his movement allowed Sanu to get open outside. You think it's going to be open up top? No. Over the middle, it is blanket coverage, but the movement helped A.J. McCarron that time.
First down since 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Over 22 minutes on the game clock since their previous first down. Here's McCarron loading it up and overthrows his target and almost got intercepted by Blake for the 2nd time.
I'm not sure whose fault that is. A.J. McCarron threw it exactly where he wanted to. He thought A.J. Green was going to keep going to the sideline, but he stops. So, watch, gets outside, coverage underneath. Well, he's stopping the whole way, so somebody made a mistake.
2nd and 10. Hill finally has an opening, has a first down and a whole lot more. Down to the 30-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds by Timmons. It was A.J. Green who really helped make that happen with a big block on the outside. Run of 38.
You said it. He made the block down the field. Watch Will Allen, 20, come up in the hole, misses. And then the move outside, and A.J. Green gives him all those extra yards. And Jeremy Hill has really come on late in the year. He's got those legs back. He's been fighting injuries. You can see that he's healthy now.
Longest play of the night for either side from the 29. McCarron has the ball come out of his hands, and that's a free football. And it's recovered by Cam Thomas, and it slips out of his hands. William Gay taken off for his 2nd touchdown of the year against the Steelers, against the Bengals. Gay takes it all the way. If they don't rule Thomas down, got all kinds of things to check here. Was it a fumble? Was it a pass? Celebration penalty coming against the Steelers.
I think it's a fumble, Jim. I saw it.
I do too.
That's Jarvis Jones getting around Whitworth and just reaches out and hits it.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Pittsburgh. Runner was not ruled down by contact after recovering the fumble. The ruling on the field is a score.
There you go. Cam Thomas was never down.
Pittsburgh after the play, 2 players demonstration. That penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff.
Well, they were moving the football too. Got some first downs. He was going to throw it short. Had a completion.
Just had the big play for 38 yards.
Hand coming forward. It's an absolute fumble.
Mike Carey, there's no chance that could be ruled a pass.
No, the ball comes out clearly before the hand comes forward. That's a fumble. Covered by the defense.
How about Thomas? Did you see him, the ball come out before he was down?
Now let's check that one out too.
I think that's the biggest question is Cam Thomas, was he down? The William Gay return will not stand. This was Cam Thomas making the recovery, and he is down, tackled by Bowling.
After reviewing the play, after the recovery, the defender's left knee was down at the 49-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Pittsburgh, but after the 15-yard penalty at the 36-yard line, right hash. Please reset the game clock to 12-13. 12-1-3 on the game clock, please.
So the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty remains in effect, and it'll back him up all the way to the Pittsburgh 36.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything turned out as well as it could for the Cincinnati Bengals. The fumble, you think you've given up a touchdown, you get the penalty. Of course, the A.J. McCarron had some rhythm. They picked up some first downs, was going to throw a little check down that was going to be complete. But Jarvis Jones made the big play.
Drake Kirkpatrick, who was injured late in the first half, is back out at corner. And here comes a end around for Bryant. Oh, look at him get through traffic. And there's Kirkpatrick I just mentioned, trying to give chase to Bryant and forces him out of bounds near the 20.
Boy, he's playing with the purpose that time. They saw him make a mistake lining up, but they faked the run. Look at Heath Miller, Toussaint out in front, and Bryant, just a good read, cuts it back. They warned us, said, look out, he's going to have a big game tonight because he had to deal with a little adversity during the week.
Great piece of running here. Look at him cut back to the other side, 44 yards.
What a good job by Kirkpatrick, just put his head down and stayed with it.
And he's hurt again. I just finished saying that he had returned after being shaken up late in the second quarter. And now he is able to at least jog to the sideline, but the Steelers have it. 1st and 10 at the Cincinnati 20-yard line.
You know, plays like that work. They've been running the football well enough, Jim, and you know, you got the quarterback, the wide receivers, a lot to look at. So when they come out there with reverse, and that's always a staple. Todd Haley's always going to have a reverse in every game plan. We know about all the screens. He's going to make the defense sit, read what he's doing, then react. He's just not going to let them get free runs the whole game at his offensive players.
To give to Todman. Makes a couple of jump cuts and takes it near the 16. Give him 4.
But, you know, go back to Martavis Bryant. You're right. You know, during the week we heard that Ben Roethlisberger just said, man, he's got to step up. Kind of, I guess a phrase would say, called him out. And Mike Tomlin said, hey, we're big boys around here. The great thing about Bryant, he didn't pout about it. He practiced hard.
Well, Ben actually called him in advance of his radio show and said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to challenge you, and I'm doing it out of love.
Well, couldn't you do it in Providence?
2nd and 6. By the way, Patrick set out one snap. He was back in on that play. No gain for Todman that time. 3rd and 6 on the way.
I heard Bill Cowher talking at halftime. We haven't seen anything yet, but talking about Ben Roethlisberger, big hands. I talked about it earlier, too. Wet footballs, even though the rain looks like it's stopped. It's just not a problem for him. He's not a guy that squeezes that football so tight where he has to have the perfect grip.
Hayward Bay, the extra receiver. From the 16. With pressure to the end zone and incomplete. Adam Jones had Hayward Bay covered up.
Adam Jones, once again, faked like he was going to bump Hayward Bay at the line of scrimmage, but never fooled. The little stutter go. Just watch it. The only thing you could say, maybe Antonio Brown coming across, but they're playing a, like you say, a shell defense. In other words, let him catch it short if he wants to. Let's run up and make the tackle. Roethlisberger looking for the touchdown. Really good stop by the defense once again.
And Tomlin told Tracy, going to the locker room, got to finish drives. But the 3rd time now they call him Boswell. This from 34, and he makes the margin. 9 with his 3 kicks. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. DirecTV, if you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. And by Ram Trucks, guts, glory, Ram. 9-0 is the score here. Steelers in the third quarter.
Well, you know, you said it. 9-0. There's no reason to panic. Plenty of time, and you got to make sure you tell your young quarterback on the sideline the situation. Don't press. If you don't see it cleanly, hold on to it. Take a sack or run.
Here's Boswell, again doing a good job getting the touchback. Let's take a look at our nationwide Sky Cam. It was 10 years ago this week. We were here. It's like Groundhog Day, you know? We were here to see this exact matchup. Pittsburgh at 6, Cincinnati at 3.
Jim, I'm trying to remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
So you got to remember that game.
No, I do. There were some great plays in that game.
Carson Palmer.
Well, that wasn't one of the great ones.
That was a tough one.
Tremendous throw, but just some of the stuff we saw, some of the gimmick plays by Bill Cowher. He was the master at pulling out some type of gimmick play in a game.
First and 10, handoff Bernard. And runs into the wall for no gain. Yep, the Steelers were a 6. This is the longest pass play in Bengal history to Chris Henry. But the key there was that Palmer had a torn ACL. He wanted the trick play. He's back to Roethlisberger. And Cedric Wilson at the end of that 31-17 win. Steelers go on to win the Super Bowl up in Detroit, Super Bowl 40. There's McCarron down the sideline, and A.J. Green has his biggest play of the night. Had only one catch before it. We got a Steeler staff member down. Gain of 22.
Good play. Threw it on time and caught A.J. Green in between the coverage. William Gay looking at the quarterback. Get it to him before the safety can get over there. Mike Mitchell to make the play.
To the ground. Will Allen comes up on Hill.
And, you know, it was a really good
Bernard on the Bernard on the carry there.
Sorry, Jim, but A.J. McCarron now has taken the glove off. You know, that last, can't make his mind up what he likes the most, but he did stop raining, so going to trust that these footballs stay dry.
2nd and 11. Sidearms this one. Dropped by Bernard, but Allen was right there again.
Well, not going to gain any yards. Getting rid of it quick. Trying to avoid the hit. Now, every time they've played this Steeler defense, the number one pass play, in my opinion, of the Bengals offense is when the inside receivers go down the field. They're called seams. They run them constantly for many looks. Have not seen that so far tonight.
We go to the shotgun here for McCarron. 3rd and 11. Pocket breaking down on him, so he has to roll out. Throws on the run to the sideline, and they'll have to punt again.
Didn't see anything really open, but he's just got to learn, and it's, you know, he's looking at one guy and running. Tough to do. Let's see, trying to get across the field here by Sanu, not open. By the time he has a chance to look for the second receiver, he's already bailed out of the pocket.
And Hubert, punting for the 6th time tonight, gets the fair catch by Antonio Brown. 42-yard punt. 9-0. Bengals offense can't get going. The Steelers defense controlling. Tonight's Next Gen Stats are brought to you by Tostitos. Bring the party. From the 18, there's the get to Toussaint. He saw that if he cut back to his right side, there'd be a lane there, and he took advantage for 7. Toussaint doing a fine job in here. Got an injured Bengal on the field. I believe it's Wallace Gilberry. Yes, it is. Take an injury timeout. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Intuit TurboTax. Taxes done smarter. And by Clean Crisp Coors Light. The American Sign Museum here in Cincinnati. Just find a sign outside. Make your way in. 2nd and 4. Coming off the injury timeout, but Gilberry was able to walk to the sideline. Looked like he might be all right. Toussaint. Again, a nice cut to pick up the first down. Deron Smith is in there in that secondary for Sean Williams.
Excellent cut. They get Geno Atkins, get everybody moving down inside, and they cut it back. And Jim, that's the story. When they're playing pass defense, worried about the wide receivers, that's a big reason why the Steelers are having some success running the football. Nobody crowding the line of scrimmage. They're taking advantage of it.
Got a new set of downs at the 30. Nothing this time. Maualuga blew up that play at the line of scrimmage.
Wow. Just a great hitter in the run game when you look at Ray Maualuga. Yeah, that's the weak part of his game. If you want to call it that, yeah, if he has to cover a running back or somebody way out there one-on-one, that might be tough. But they don't ask him to do something like that too often. He's in there for just what we saw. To be physical, stop the other team's runs like he did that time.
2nd and 10. He's over the center right now, over Cody Wallace. And here they come. On the blitz, they find the open man. Brown got away, and he's cutting to the far sideline. Kirkpatrick is blocked, and Brown finally is tackled at the 10-yard line.
They line him up everywhere. It was a blitz. They came free. The timing's good. And watch to your right. Watch Roethlisberger. Brown just goes across. He's the inside of 3 receivers, so you just can't pinpoint where he's going to be. And Roethlisberger stood on that back leg, just stayed back nice and relaxed, and put it right on the money against the blitz. How about that?
How about this running? How about this effort spinning away and just seeing the field? Here's Wheaton putting a block on Kirkpatrick, who was gimpy again coming out of that.
He has so much experience, Jim, of doing that. He does. That's why he sees it so well. He's done it many, many times.
Toussaint. So after a 60-yard play, this one goes for nothing, and now there's a little scrum at the goal line. DeCastro's on the bottom of the pile.
What happened is David DeCastro just blocks. Couldn't see who it was. Drove his guy all the way. Perfect that time, I think it is. Back into the end zone, so that's why the scuffle ensued. DeCastro, the right guard.
Yeah, he's on perfect.
Yep, got him, and that fight's not on, and he takes him down. Says a lot about DeCastro, all-pro this year, and
well, the Steelers
just
they've had it with Burfict. Not that he's that I've seen him do anything here tonight, but he was the one who took Le'Veon Bell's season, brought it to an end. And actually, the last 2 years, he's had impact plays that have ended Bell's seasons, and then of course he had the hit on Ben Roethlisberger, for which he was fined. After all of that, they tear the teams apart. There's no flag. It's 2nd and goal. From the gun, Roethlisberger in zone bound, and it is a touchdown. Martavis Bryant living up to the challenge.
Yep, nice route by him. Watch what he does, and you're thinking, how can he get open against Kirkpatrick in the back of the end zone? Top of your screen, number 10, little fake curl inside. Then look at the separation it gives him against Kirkpatrick and Roethlisberger right on target.
Well, look at the catch. As he tried to control it, make sure he didn't lose it. This is an amazing acrobatic effort from behind.
I was so busy watching the route.
And a flip.
Does he keep control?
Yes. Oh, that's like a tennis player hitting one of those shots across the net between his legs.
Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch. We might not see that every 5 seconds now. We'll see this catch. I think he keeps control of it.
I don't think there's any question.
Oh.
That's major style points. They're going to review the play. Waiting to find out if this is official.
After reviewing the play, the ruling of a touchdown stands.
Wow. I don't see any way how they could have gone the other way because he never lost control of the football. It was always pinned against the body. But how in the world he figured out how to do this?
Well, okay, he's got it here now, flipped completely over.
And still hold on to it.
Get it.
Okay. That's one of the highlights. Be played back forever. Now we're going to go for 2 here, say the Steelers.
They love this. Mike Tomlin says, I agree, go ahead, go here. We're going to make it more than we miss.
Roethlisberger looking for options. Zings it back of the end zone, incomplete. That was for Wheaton. They had been 8 out of 11 in the regular season going for 2. Unconventional by everybody else's standards, but it proved to work out during the regular season. Again, 8 out of 11 times, setting a record for most 2 ever converted in 1 year. Well, you think of Santonio Holmes toe-tapping touchdown against Arizona in the Super Bowl, another number 10 in that same right corner, and that was one of the great catches in Super Bowl history. But as far as playoffs, this one's going to make the all-time list.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The concept, the route, and I know Drake Kirkpatrick's been in and out with the quad injury, but even when you're healthy, it was just a clever design, so simple, expecting him to cut in front of the defender. And then, of course, to make this catch, how many times do you think we're going to see this catch in the next day or 2?
Well, the thing is, why does he somersault? I think he realized somehow, in a flicker of a second, he realized that was the only way he was going to be able to hold on to the football. And here's the 2, and it was just wide of Wheaton. Oh, at that one point, he had to be thinking instinctively, this is the only way I can save it.
But I can wait to keep control of the football through the whole process. Absolutely.
Now the skies have opened up again. $15-0. And another touchback. We had just discussed how Roethlisberger had that exchange on his weekly radio show in Pittsburgh, and how he had warned Brian in advance of it. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to talk about this, and I'm doing it out of love.
Right.
And Tomlin said this is a great example too of how this team really has gelled together. Well, the faith to be able to do that, to have that scrutiny, and Ben made it very clear. This is coming from love, but it's time you toughen up. That's what he had said. There's A.J. Green's 3rd catch.
Yeah, and he said, I'm just challenging. You're going to be a pro about it, or are you going to pout? And, of course, we've seen just the body language, the effort, the enthusiasm, whatever you want to say from Martavis Bryant tonight. So, Mike Tomlin, listen, when you're around him, you better not be thin-skinned as a player, because if it's in his brain, it's coming out. But it's a good thing. Honesty. You know where you stand. Good throw by A.J. McCarron on the previous play.
All kinds of time here, and it bounces off the hands. Marker is down. Bernard unable to grab hold of it. He had some space to work with had he made the catch.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 22, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Penalty on William Gay gives the Bengals a new set of downs. And the night before Super Bowl 50, the NFL salutes the best players and plays of the season in a primetime star-studded football and entertainment special. NFL honors Saturday, February 6th, only CBS. From the 36, Giovanni Bernard, there's that quickness. And that was a tackle by Mike Mitchell that should not be underrated because he could have gone for a whole lot more.
Kind of expected to see a little more of this, the shotgun runs by Giovanni Bernard, because when you spread out, the Steelers, what are they going to do? They're going to bring in their pass defense. Makes it easier, run those type of draws up inside with Bernard.
It went for 12. Here he is again into the hands of Shazier. Flag is out. Helmet is down. Now it's belonged to Bernard.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
This one brings the football near the 35-yard line. And now Cincinnati has a chance with this drive. Finally try to correct itself. Been sputtering for more than 2.5 quarters, and now on the move with a couple of penalties helping the cause for them. Here's the throw over to Sanu, and I think that was a backwards pass. Yes. Yeah, they are marking out of bounds at the 43. What were they trying to do there?
Just trying to get
pass out of bounds.
Just trying to get some motion, some fake, throw the screen to the outside to fool the defense. In other words, fake the run. Here he comes around, look down the field, and here's the drop. The secondary receiver is Sanu, but the throw happened so quick he doesn't get in front of the quarterback. Remember, it says forward pass. The ball must go forward. If it goes sideways, that's a fumble.
Well, it's a loss of 7. He's back to the gloves now as, again, the rain has intensified.
Cincinnati has challenged the ruling of a backward pass versus a forward pass. We'll review the play.
I don't see him winning this challenge. Mike Carey, you had a chance to look at it a couple of times. What did you see?
When I first looked at it, it looked like it was forward to me, and I still believe that it was a forward pass. We'll see when he kind of on a replay.
Okay.
Yeah, brought a little doubt in my eye when I saw it the second time.
Well,
From the point where it's released to
I think
where
you're
it's
right.
first
There you
touched,
go. Good
it's
shot.
a good yard downfield.
Definitely was not even a sideways pass. It looked like it was about a ½ yard forward.
That's right.
On that angle. Well done by our crew. Mike Arnold, our director, Lan Sparrow, our producer, and all these different angles covered. And the Bengals should recover 7 yards off of that.
Yeah, it's a big 7 yards too, so very good challenge if he wins it by Marvin Lewis.
Cincinnati this year has been one of the best teams in the league on challenges. We saw it live.
Yes, I
Like,
thought it was a backward pass. I actually thought it was about a yard behind, but that's a great shot from there. You can see it looks like it goes forward about a ½ yard, and you talk about that play, just trying to get some deception to get A.J. McCarron an easy throw down the field, but the secondary of the Steelers very sharp tonight. You know, taking advantage of the fact the weather, playoff game, young quarterback.
Marvin Lewis puts one man in charge of making the decision whether to throw out the challenge flag or not. It's Robert Livingston, and he's done a fine job this year. He is their defense quality control special teams assistant.
Play, it's an incomplete forward pass. Please reset the game clock to 3:33. 3:33 on the game clock. Second down, 35-yard line. Cincinnati is not charged with the timeout. The game clock will start on the snap.
So it'll be a 2nd and 10 now. Going right in the direction there of Hugh Jackson, who, again, has gotten a whole lot of attention and could very easily land a head coaching job when all the dust settles. Former head coach of the Raiders, who once made that trade that a lot of people said, what was that all about when he traded for Carson Palmer? And now I think people understand what he was doing.
That's a good point.
On the stop later to Arizona, people now get it. Here's Eifert. Eifert to the 28.
Excellent call. Screen. They're going after the pass. Or 2nd and 10, so they throw the screen inside to Eifert. And the hustle by the Steelers stops us from getting extra yards. Got all the linemen down the field. But Ryan Shazier, so fast, just can outrun, of course, and get to the tight end before the offensive lineman can get to him.
Biggest third down snap perhaps of the game so far. 3rd and 3. It's their deepest penetration so far. And Sanu secures it for the first. Picked up 4, needed 3.
Good read, little blitz by the Steelers. Shazier, the linebacker, know the situation. Nice throw by A.J. McCarron.
McCarron now 13 of 24 for 116 and 1 interception. Delay give. Giovanni Bernard not able to make a move around to it, nor Dupree. Gain of 1. If you thought your fantasy season was over, it's not. You could play for free and you could win a trip to Super Bowl 51 down in Houston in 2017. Join today at NFL.com/playoff challenge.
Tell you what, when you talk about that, there's only 2 defensive linemen in the game. Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt. That time, both of them excellent against the run. Play almost every play of the game as defensive linemen, tough to do.
2nd and 9. Shazier coming in on him, and he had to get rid of it.
Well, one of my things I saw this week coming into the game, I said the old term Blitzburg, blitzing by the Pittsburgh defense, it's alive and well. Here comes Shazier, fastest linebacker on the football team. Why not? Nobody there to block him.
3rd and 9. If they don't convert here, is it 4-down territory, or you just go ahead and get some points on the board here?
I wouldn't hesitate for 1 second. 3rd and 9, if you don't get this first down, I would send the field goal team in immediately.
Backing off the blitz, giving McCarron time. Goes underneath, and he is smashed. Shazier lays out Bernard, and Shazier comes up with the football. Whistles. Shazier takes it all the way to the goal line, but they have whistled the play dead, and meanwhile Bernard has barely moved.
Oh. He launched himself, used the top of his helmet. But Bernard has caught the ball, turned, so that's why no flag was thrown, probably. He caught it, was turning into a runner there, Jim. Watch him as he turns. He's caught it.
Uh-oh. Look at that. Look at midfield here. Jeremy Hill's about to take on 4 Steelers. Stephon Tuitt's over there with his helmet off. So is Timmons and a couple others, and that had the potential to be a whole lot worse. As far as that breaking into something no one wanted to see. They bring in Mike Carey again.
Yeah.
Mike, should there have been a flag here?
This is the reason that they did not throw a flag. A receiver is no longer defenseless when he becomes a runner. He got 2 steps down, turned all the way upfield. They determined that that was not a defenseless receiver, just a very unfortunate hit.
Okay, fourth down is going to come up. And Nugent has taken the field for Cincinnati.
Well, that was a...
Oh, there. Tomlin showing the challenge flag. He might want to say, yep, there it comes. He's going to say Bernard made the catch,
but fumbled
the football. Did you see that, Mike?
Well, this is a challengeable play, so we'll take a look at it, see if the ball was loose before he hit the ground. We've been focused on that hit.
Look at Bernard. Who would have thought just a minute ago that he would be able to at least jog? I mean, it was thankfully able to get to his feet. But he's going in. No doubt.
Pittsburgh has challenged the previous play of down by contact, which is a fumble, with a clear recovery by Pittsburgh. We'll review the play.
Here it is, Mike.
All right, as before, control, 2 feet, turn, getting ready to run.
Ball definitely comes out.
And the ball is loose, but let's see what happens with it. Where does it end up?
It's on the back of Shazier.
Correct.
Now, right, Mike, if they win this challenge, the football will be down where he recovered it.
Where the whistle was blown, they'll give it to Pittsburgh at that spot.
Boy, the speed of Shazier was so evident in that whole drive. The plays he made, the blitz, reacting to the short throw.
In slow motion, you can see that the receiver, he turned around, had a good look at what was happening in front of him.
Right.
The collision happened, the ball came loose, and it was recovered by Pittsburgh.
All right, good call.
That's the way I see it.
He never saw him. He turned around and was looking down the field, and Shazier came from the side, and Bernard never saw him.
Again, just an unfortunate hit. Yes, as soon as the whistle's blown, it's down by contact.
Right.
So Pittsburgh will get the ball, but not the advantage of the run afterwards.
Well, I don't know exactly when they changed the rule, Mike. I'm just going to say this. It used to be when they blew that whistle, even if there was a fumble, it didn't matter. It's been quite a few years now where they said, no, they're going to let the play continue in a situation like this where you can't get the recovery, even though it wasn't ruled on the field.
This crowd is in a frenzy after this whole sequence of events. And this goes against their side. We can hear this.
It is a fumble. It'll be a Pittsburgh football, 1st and 10, 37. Please adjust the game clock to 1:37, please. 1:37 on the game clock. Pittsburgh is not charged with the timeout.
So it is a Pittsburgh recovery. The crowd just drowned him out, and Shazier wasn't even sure. But it's a Pittsburgh recovery. Let's go down to Tracy.
Jim, you talked about the crowd being in a frenzy. Well, the Cincinnati Bengals sidelines in a frenzy, specifically Vontaze Burfict. He is out of control right now. The coaches, Marvin Lewis coming over trying to hold him back. He just went back on the field, but he got in the officials' faces twice so far during this game. I watched him pregame. He was all fired up. And right now, they just have to keep a watch on Vontaze Burfict and make sure he doesn't do anything silly and get himself or his team in trouble, Jim.
Great heads up. Thank you, Tracy. And again, the league came down all week and tried to set out warnings. They had the officials standing guard at midfield during warm-ups. And you can hardly imagine there won't be some other incident before this game's over. And this is just starting to flare up as a flag comes out. Toussaint's carry for a couple. And water bottle's been tossed onto the field. Burfict and DeCastro, after that play, had an exchange of words. And now they're trying to settle him down. They did on the sideline, the Bengals staff, and now the officials are. There's debris in the end zone being tossed.
Offense number 72, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's now been picked up, and
well, I think Vontaze Burfict, all what you talked about, bottle in the end zone being thrown, but he went after DeCastro. They had that little scuffle you saw down in the far end zone before. David DeCastro when he blocked him to the ground. So now it's becoming personal. But everything that Tracy Wolfson just said, I saw players running across the field. They had their capes on. I couldn't see who they were when that hit happened to Giovanni Bernard. John Perry has got to be tight on everything he calls here now to make sure this game doesn't get out of control.
Well, I think it already is. 1st and 20. As Todman has 2-yard pickup. And if you weren't with us at the start, just as we were coming on, we showed you this. This is during pregame warm-ups.
How about this? Yes. Not often you see this. You actually asked Mike Carey, and then Mike Carey goes, oh, that's a little unusual, where the officials are in, what do they call it, the no-fly zone, midfield, making sure both teams stayed on their side of the 50 during warm-up.
You ever seen that, Mike?
Only when you have two contentious teams.
So you have
to take extra precaution, but it's unusual.
Okay. 2nd and 18. Blitz going long and over the head of Wheaton, who was tightly covered down the field by Chris Lewis Harris.
Chris Lewis Harris came into the game last week. Leon Hall got nicked, and Marvin Lewis at practice, got to remember the days, Thursday, because it's a Saturday game, just came in and played very, very well. You look at number 55, Vontaze Burfict, now limping around after that last play.
.38 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. 3rd and 18. Roethlisberger in trouble. Ducked at the 3 by Burfict, who has the football, but the quarterback is hurt. Roethlisberger
fell on his shoulder.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Got pinned. Couldn't protect himself. It was a 3-man rush, then a late 4th one came. Nobody open. Roethlisberger playing safe. He knows he's got the lead. And there you see the weight just falls right on him.
Loss of 12. And what that kind of impact, that kind of pile driving move, legal play, but could set all kinds of consequences for the quarterback and his throwing shoulder.
Shoulder, chest, ribs, it could be anything.
4th and 30. They don't even have to snap it here in the quarter. And they're going to wait till the 4th.
Wow.
They have been making now some stadium announcements urging the crowd to settle down. Through 3, Pittsburgh 15, Cincinnati nothing. You're watching the NFL on CBS. During that timeout, Roethlisberger carted in, and debris was being thrown at him. Crowd was actually even cheering as Roethlisberger was taken to the locker room. Punt's a short one. Gets a rollout to about the 46. Roethlisberger injured on this play right here. Perfect.
You can just tell immediately, Jim, on the hit when he hits the ground. He's the delayed rusher. They had 3 guys coming at him, guys in protection. Perfect. Comes at the quarterback late. Nobody open, gets the hit. And we just saw where Ben Roethlisberger went.
Karen's throw. He missed Croft that time, covered by Timmons. This drive starting in Pittsburgh territory. It's the first time the Bengals in the postseason have started a drive in the opponent's territory in 65 postseason drives.
Well, coming into this game, one of the things, and you and I talked about, I said, boy, the Steelers defense, we know about the pass coverage. To win it, the linebackers have to be terrific. And I would say so far the linebackers have been terrific.
2nd and 10. McCarron, long ball time. Down the field it goes. He had it for a moment. A flag is out. Green was interfered with. Will Allen.
That was just a good job. Throw it high and deep and give your receiver a chance. The defense was not full. They just didn't react to the ball well.
Defense number 20. Automatic first down, spot on the ball.
A.J. Green's going deep. Boy, 2 double moves on one play.
Number 70.
And that second one's what got Will Allen to think, well, it's going to be an easy defense right here. That's a good call. He never turns around.
It's a 42-yard penalty. And the Bengals have the ball at the 4. They've brought in Jake Fisher and Cedric Ogbuehi. Everyone in tight. Hill stopped a yard short.
Great tackle by Vince Williams that time, number 98. But you said it too. Their first and second round draft picks, offensive linemen in the game to give them power. Jake Fisher, number 44, second round draft pick from Oregon.
Well, here's Hill as the tailback. He tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns this year with 11. They give it to him, and he's in for the touchdown.
Well, if the first play works, let's do it again. So they ran the exact same play twice. Something I see this Bengals offense do a lot. Boy, good job by Jake Fisher, the fullback, to get lower than the defender, and it helped Jeremy Hill get into the end zone.
Coming into the quarter, the Bengals had gone 5 straight postseason quarters without scoring. Extra point Nugent is good. And it looks like as Hill goes into the end zone, it's going to be Landry Jones time for Pittsburgh when they take the field.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. Initial reports from the Bengals is that, or from the Steelers, excuse me, is that Ben Roethlisberger has a right shoulder injury. His return is questionable. He remains in the X-ray room right now. As soon as we receive any more information, I will pass it on to you, Jim.
Okay, Tracy. Ben came in and relieved Landry Jones week 10 against Cleveland. And now Jones has to come into this game in relief of Ben. So.
Well, now the tables have switched. You got a quarterback, Landry Jones, that has a little experience this year. He's played some, started, but now the Bengal defense. Landry Jones has done well, but he's not Ben Roethlisberger. And, of course, you're Landry Jones. What happens, Jim? Well, it starts raining harder.
Starts from the shotgun. Ball's in the air and incomplete. It was Sims who got a hand on it. Steelers, Bengals, perfect, and Roethlisberger. This hit right here took a little money out of Perfect's wallet. Fine for that one. Ben made it very clear he thought he was going after him. Perfect was in that one.
Right.
After the game, and now this one tonight. No one can argue whether it was a legal hit.
No, it was a legal hit. You're not allowed to wrap your arms around a quarterback and let your weight fall on him. It was close.
It's Todman taken off. Sean Williams bats the ball out of his hands, but they're out of bounds after a big gain of 25.
Ray Maluga, number 58, tries to go underneath to make the play in the backfield, and it opens up. Just a guess. The defense was not spread out enough. That's what it is. When you talk about run defense, make sure every gap between the offense and the offensive lineman is covered. It wasn't that time. They gave up the big run.
They have 159 yards rushing in the game. Toussaint. And they're playing with their 4th and 5th running backs, if you will, of the year. Toussaint, who spent most of the season on the practice squad, had gotten into a couple of games at the end of last year with the Ravens. Originally signed by Baltimore, undrafted out of Michigan. 4 games in all for the Ravens last year. Even played in the playoffs. Got a couple of touches in that great game, that divisional game that went back and forth with the Patriots last year.
I know one thing. The Steelers during the preseason, they made it their job to make sure they got Landry Jones ready. When Ben Roethlisberger, they did pick up Michael Vick. It didn't go well. They put him back in there from all the preseason work.
In trouble, no chance. The Bengals double up and get him. Dunlap and Sims. You mentioned Mike Vick. He is inactive tonight.
Boy, Carlos Dunlap was on the outside to the right. His spin move just forced his way in between the linemen.
It was really Sims.
And helped Sims get there first. But he was making Landry Jones move.
Sims with a batted ball on this series, and now a sack. Third and 17 is Bryant, with the Bengals having that one completely covered up. And Burfict over there near the Steelers sideline.
Well, what do you want to say? Looking for trouble.
You don't want to see this game get completely crazy. It's pretty close. Anytime he's hovering over by the Steelers sideline, that can't lead to good things for anybody. Boy, that was close. Fair catch by Tate at the 13. 45-yard boot. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. Geico, 15 minutes. Could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Verizon, join a better network, because better matters. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson, Mike Carey. It was been one of the most physical games you'll ever see.
Well, it was a great physical contest for a lot of the game. It was fun to watch. The speed and the defenses they were ferocious. And then, of course, a lot of side action to go along with it.
Here's McCarron setting up screen to Hill. He's got room. He's got 10 and a first down. I want to go one time more back to the Roethlisberger play where he was sacked by Burfict, and just ask you, was this, in your mind, a legal tackle? Phil talked about the rule, had it. Let's bring in Mike Carey.
Yes, this is definitely a legal tackle. It's rough, but he didn't lift him up and stuff him. And as a matter of fact, Ben was a runner at that point. Remember, he was scrambling.
Okay.
The rule was instituted in 1995.
First and 10 for McCarron. Going to dump it off underneath. And Hill races out for another 13. Bernard is not coming back, we've just been told. He's out for the game. So is Dre Kirkpatrick, by the way, their cornerback, who's been in and out with injuries and was the one beaten on the touchdown play to Bryant. Hill's a little gimpy after that. Oh, yeah, more than a little.
Well, we saw how the defense dropped back. Great job by McCarron. Drop it short.
Rex Burkhead now is the running back. As Burkhead getting a chance to handle it. And he's got 4. On Super Bowl Sunday, Pepsi presents the biggest concert of the year, the Pepsi Super Bowl 50 halftime show. And for the first time ever, Pepsi is giving fans exclusive behind-the-scenes access as the show comes together. Pepsi.com for more details. Second and 6. McCarron. He's got running room. Eyeing that first down marker, and he's close.
Good job by A.J. McCarron. Has moved around tonight when he needs to make a play when he can't find anybody open. And it's just not something the Steelers says, oh, we don't care. He's not going to run. They were leery of playing coverage and him running out of the pocket and making plays like that, because he has shown, especially last week, to be a little more spontaneous, getting used to the action on the field. Of course, getting all those practice reps each week, getting ready to play.
You saw Hill come back into the game after sitting down for a couple of plays. McCarron's throw should have been caught off the hands of Eifert, and nearly intercepted by Mike Mitchell.
Finally, I shouldn't say finally, but this is what they're noted for, these type of throws down the field. He's going to go across, fights through the zone, nobody there to cover him. And the throw was absolutely good enough to catch. Was it perfect? No. But Eifert's going to make that 98% of the time.
Eifert had 3 catches in the first quarter. He's had 1 since. You saw Burkhead split out to the right side. A.J. Green is not in the game. Sanu is. Second and 10. He's going to take off again. He's going to slide for 1.
Rex Burkhead, we did the playoff game last year for the Bengals, right? Remember, he was a
big part of it.
Part of their passing game.
Yeah. It's like their top wideout in the game. A.J. Green's back in this play.
But the Steelers are really dropping deep in coverage. Mike Mitchell, the last play, was 30 yards deep in the middle of the field. And look at him right now, how far he is going back. Why is he getting all the way back there? Because he wants to see what's going on and make sure A.J. Green or one of those receivers, they get open deep, he can chase him down the sideline.
Timeout, Cincinnati. It's first. Wild Card Weekend continues tomorrow on NBC and Fox. NBC up first with Seattle and Minnesota. In chilly weather, Green Bay and the Redskins on Fox. The 2 coaches tomorrow hosting are both former assistants to Marvin Lewis. Talking about Jay Gruden and Mike Zimmer. You would think this might be A.J. Green time. 3rd and 9 coming up. I know all these A.J.s can get a little confusing at times.
That's right,
if it helps you, it's Raymond Anthony McCarron Jr. and Adriel Jeremiah Green. You can go by that. They're blitzing. It's the pass away. Diving catch by Eifert. Could have caught the one earlier. Just a couple of plays ago. This time makes an 18-yard diving reception.
There he goes. Here's the blitz inside. They love it. 2 blitzers crossing, 1 coming up the middle. almost looks like the same play that Roethlisberger made to Antonio Brown against the blitz.
Sideline and a catch by Green. Down by Gay right away. Gain of 9.
That was, we're seeing the A.J. McCarron that I kind of saw in that Denver game that had some rhythm, even that time drop, made his decision. When his last step hit the ground, he threw it on time outside to the soft coverage to A.J. Green.
7 minutes remaining. They go to the ground. And fighting for the first is Hill. And the pile moved enough for him to get it, I believe. It is a first down.
You know, finally, Jim, you heard me say it, not to get, but those seams going up the field, inside, we've seen a couple of them. Eifert missed one, then he caught a big one. That's one of the big weaknesses, or one of the biggest weakness of the Steelers' pass defense.
Remember, Cincinnati had 2 first downs in the first half, now with 15 in this half. Again to Hill. Backs in for a couple more. Mokes met him there after 2. You know, I'm going to bring up that 2-point attempt by Pittsburgh. Of course, had the Steelers made it, the Bengals would not have been kicking the extra point.
That's right.
You know, when they had the touchdown at the start of this quarter.
A lot of things have happened since then. If they'd have made it, then maybe the Bengals would have went for 2 and be 16-6. A lot of ifs.
2nd and 8 pass for Jones, incomplete. Blake on the coverage.
Didn't second guess him when they did it. Understood why Mike Tomlin was trying it, to get the 17, to make it 3 scores. The most important thing right now, 3rd down, 15-7. Know that you're definitely in field goal range. Be careful with the football.
Andy Dalton looking on. 3rd and 8, 5:52 to go. McCarron gives it up to Burkhead. Harrison's there. And Harrison takes him out of bounds short of the first. And now it's going to be 4th and 3. They immediately bring out Nugent.
5:44 to go. Get it to 2 within 1 score. No decision by Marvin Lewis. Kicked the field goal. Steelers defense ready. Little switch by the receivers. Everything. They pass it off. There was really nowhere for A.J. McCarron to go with the football.
It's going to be a 35-yard attempt for Nugent. The most tenured Bengal in his 11th year. We'll call it 36 now as they step back a little bit more with Hubert. Here's the kick, and it is good. 10 points in the quarter by the Bengals. Pittsburgh leads at 15-10. And let's take a look at next-gen stats presented by Tostitos.
Well, what do we get? We get a blitz by the Bengals defense. Antonio Brown, the distance, breaks the tackle, cuts across the field. How many yards has he covered? The speed, of course, we know the speed, the quickness. It's there. 80 yards, big play in the game.
And wait till you see this development. Look who's back, ready to go. Ben Roethlisberger. Tracy, you were backstage to see what happened. What can you tell us?
That's right, Jim. We saw him go directly into the x-ray room. He spent about 10 minutes inside there, and then he was carted out without his pads, no sling on whatsoever, into the locker room. They made arrangements to get his pads and everything back on, and I was told he's coming back out and going to try and get back out there, guys.
Wow. That's surprising, isn't it?
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
What did I say a couple weeks ago? It's part of being a Steeler quarterback.
Well, he's not coming out. Yeah, it's not. He had the helmet on, but Jones is coming out.
Oh, there you go. So he's not good enough to come back into this game.
Well, you know, maybe what it says is, you know, there is no backup to Jones. So if you had to, at least have somebody come in and hand it off.
Good point. You see him moving his arm around, showing everybody.
But Jones is the quarterback with 5:12 to go. Jones throw, and it's caught by Brown for a pickup of 6. Well, he's over there on the sideline. He's not even, warming up any throws or anything like that.
Yeah, I never saw him warm up when he came back out, but the way he put that helmet on, the way he was standing there, everybody was around him. I thought he was coming back into the game. Like Tomlin, I'm sure, asking what your status is, how do you feel in case we need you?
Yeah, what can you do? What could you give us? Second down and 4. Hodman dives just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Dunlap had a read on that play. And the rain again intensifies with 4 minutes approaching. The jungle has turned into a rainforest.
Yeah, it sure has. The crowd noise, usually the Steelers would throw screens. They have lots of different types of plays they can run in these situations. But so far tonight, the Bengals defense has been all over those underneath throws.
Here's a 3rd and 4 play. Jones down the field and incomplete. And no flag. Leon Hall on the coverage of Antonio Brown.
Leon Hall got a little nicked up last week, but in good position. If the throw's inside, Sean Williams is going to be there to knock it down. So Landry Jones threw it the only place he could, outside.
Adam Jones is back to return. Had his only 2nd fair catch of the season earlier in this game. A dangerous threat. He's going to have a chance to handle it here. Spins around and goes. Adam Jones to the 45 of Pittsburgh.
First person this week in the special teams meetings when they walked in the room, Adam Jones was sitting there waiting because he knew he was going to be a returner.
24-yard return. And Cincinnati down 5. Has the ball in Pittsburgh territory. 3:28 to play. The NFL on CBS, sponsored by National Car Rental. Go National, go like a pro. And by Subway, founded on fresh.
Well, the Steelers defense back on the field again. Why am I bringing it up? Because conditioning, being tired, it's got to be part of this right now.
Meantime, Cincinnati, over 9,100 days since its last playoff win 25 years ago this week. In January of 91. Seven attempts since.
He changed the play. The defense changed its play also.
And McCarron, little jump pass. And the shoestring catch by Hill for 3. Is McCarron looking a little more confident to you at the moment?
Absolutely. He's had a few good drives. Even the last drive had good rhythm. It's taken a while, but he's hung in there. 20 of 35 for the game tonight.
2nd and 7. Steeler blitz, quick pass. And it's pulled down for the catch by Marvin Jones for 6 yards.
Now, James Harrison had a terrific pass rush the play before, and this time what's he doing? Trying to get outside, almost gets there to be the underneath defender under Jones, but McCarron threw it on rhythm, puts his offense in a good 3rd down situation, and yes, absolutely this is 4 down territory.
3rd and 1. A long yard to go.
I know you were going to ask me that question, so that's why I asked.
No, I think that one, there's no question at all, as McCarron's in trouble and is able to get rid of it. It was Shazier who had the heat on him.
You got to always look to the backside. It was a corner blitz that time. Here comes James Harrison. Here comes William Gay.
And it was really Shazier that forced him ultimately to just throw it out of bounds. Fourth. Well, they're calling it officially one. It looks like two.
It's a good job. You know the play you're going to run. They got lots of them. Don't use the timeout. In case you don't get it, you're able to stop the clock and get the football back with time.
Here they come on another blitz. William Gay blitzing, leaving open. Jones hammered down after the first down by Moats.
Throws it to the right. Here comes the blitz.
It was William Gay on the blitz.
Yep. Oh, it was Jones coming all the way across. But what they do, they played zone behind the blitz, trying to get the best of both worlds. In case he saw it, he did. Or they could make the tackle.
Converting on fourth down. Now on first down, McCarron scrambles out of what could have been a sack and picks up 3. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. Coming down to the wire. Unbelievable night here. You're watching the NFL on CBS. What will the divisional round look like in the AFC? Where will Kansas City be going after its 11th straight win today? If Cincinnati pulls this off, the Bengals go to New England, sending Kansas City to Denver. A Pittsburgh win puts Kansas City at Gillette Stadium and sends the Steelers to the Mile High City. 2nd and 7 coming out of the 2-minute warning now. Bengals with 2 timeouts. Having entered this quarter down 15-0. Here's McCarron. And that pass. Errant throw in the direction of Mohamed Sanu. After the game, the Subway post-game show. James Brown and all the crew standing by for the highlights and their analysis of this game, all coming up on the Subway post-game show.
Well, you're the Steelers, especially on the defensive side. There's 2 ways to play it. Go after the quarterback. They've been blitzing every single play until that last play they set back. So Hugh Jackson, can you call the right play and get the defense you expect to give A.J. McCarron a chance to win this game?
Here's a 3rd and 7. And McCarron goes down the field, and it's caught and Breed's in for the touchdown.
We saw it early in the game, and this pass was knocked down, but A.J. Green goes inside and then breaks back out. What a job by McCarron, finding him on the backside.
Just as he had done in both meetings in the regular season, Green is in the end zone tonight against the Steelers.
Good job, and also what happened that time, did you see A.J. McCarron was looking to the right, and it wasn't there. Then he comes back. Now they got to get the...
Go for 2.
Go for 2.
Go for 2 here. Try to up the margin to 3 with 1:50 to play. 4 players shift in the formation. Little toss over the hill. The Steelers are all over it and deny him.
That was dangerous. Could have been a lateral, which it was. And that could have been returned.
Yes, it can.
For a 2-point conversion.
Can you imagine that? Could have flipped this script.
That would have been unbelievable. But let's go back and just look at what A.J. McCarron did to maybe win this game. A.J. Green's going to go down, then break back out. Watch the quarterback as he's looking to the right. Looks right, makes a little pump fake, and then comes to the backside. And that delay, that kept the safety from getting over there and making his play because he's reading the quarterback.
By the way, this is Green's first ever playoff touchdown. There's Mike Mitchell coming in. Mike Mitchell raced just across the river here. And he had talked with us last night about his respect for A.J. Green. He's frustrated us, he told us. He's more combative now. He's a heck of a player. And he's recently gotten a lot of big chunk plays against us.
Well,
and they just got one right there to take the lead.
He did something he has been talking about that he was going to do tonight. He says, I'll always out of the corner of my eye, I'm going to have an eye on A.J. Green. when he can. That was a play that the quarterback, with his look off, made him look inside, and he lost sight of A.J. Green. That looked like it was almost pre-planned. I watched a little pump fake by A.J. McCarron on that replay, so that was well thought out. They called the right play. We just said it. Hugh Jackson called the right play and had the perfect defense to get that touchdown.
Short kick. Return opportunity for Wheaton, but the Bengals have it covered up, including Smith. And we've got another pushing and shoving match going on near the 35-yard line.
Guess who's in it? I mean, he just looked like Vontaze Burfict once again was involved. Gosh, Burfict just was coming in trying to police things that time.
Steelers have all their timeouts. Trying to drive to get an attempt at a winning field goal. Jones, middle of the field, and that is intercepted, and it's Burfict who comes away with the football. He better be down because he's running the wrong way. I mean, what is going on here? 5 Bengals ran right up the ramp to the locker room, including Burfict with the football. Question is, was he down? I believe he was.
Watch what he does, though. 55. What a job. Contact, he's down. Contact takes him to the ground. There it is on the ground also.
Yeah, no question.
But he fooled the quarterback.
I thought for a moment there, were we going to have a Jim Marshall moment here? Dialing back a memory from years and years ago, the old Viking. Running the wrong way.
Vontaze Burfict. Did he do it all tonight? Caused a lot of trouble. But the sack, Roethlisberger, the tackles. Watch him as he read the quarterback. He was going outside, stopped it, and broke back inside to get the interception. Awesome job.
This game is not over. The Steelers have all the timeouts. Here's Hill. Jarvis Jones. Ball is out. Shazier had it for a moment, and now it's picked up by Cockrell. Let's see here. They're going to rule that Hill was down. I believe it's a fumble.
Called a fumble on the play. It will automatically be reviewed, of course.
Recovered by Pittsburgh. 1st and 10. Pittsburgh.
Oh my goodness. What a change of events here. Still got it. That was the stripped away by Shazier. Did the elbow touch first, or was the ball coming out? It's coming out. Mike Carey, no doubt about that, right?
It's a close one, but it's coming out.
Ruling on the field as Jeremy Hill fumbled. Watch the knee, watch the elbow, but the ball there is moving. Mike Carey, any doubt in your mind?
In my mind, that ball is moving, and certainly there's not enough to reverse.
Right. Start doing the math on what would this situation have been.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. 1st and 10.
And look who's coming out. I'm looking across the way. Ben Roethlisberger trots onto the field. This whole exchange of turnovers Pittsburgh lost 5 yards and 27 seconds. Now, had Cincinnati just had 3 pedestrian running plays and Steelers would have taken all their timeouts, probably would have gone for a field goal.
Yes.
But you would have been somewhere
that was the idea.
Under a minute.
Jeremy Hill let the ball get ripped out of his arms.
Can Roethlisberger throw it at all? Flings it over to Bryant. Bryant in traffic. Makes a nice couple of moves and picks up 8. Trying to drive them to put them in range for Chris Boswell.
Good play to test that arm out with the shoulder, whatever's bothering him. The screen play to get him moving.
Roethlisberger's throw is incomplete. Brown wasn't quite ready for it.
Defensive backs. Leon Hall is now not in there either, Jim. So
there's Hill standing alone in a very defensive stance, having fumbled for the 4th time, having lost the 4th fumble of the year. Third and 2, 54 seconds. Steelers still have all the timeouts. Cincinnati's going to use one of its 2 that it had remaining. And again, the Subway postgame show will follow immediately after this one. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for highlights and analysis of the game. All coming up, the Subway postgame show. Those couple of throws, I know they weren't long throws, but could you tell anything about Roethlisberger being compromised right now throwing the football?
Well, hard to tell, but they did look okay enough where it looks like, you know, I can't say that, hey, his arm looks great, but still got it out there with some pep on it. And you look at Marvin Lewis going up and down the sideline, looking for that first playoff win.
Third and 2. Rushing 3. Roethlisberger lofts it. And quite a catch by Toussaint. Had to adjust. And he goes out of bounds. Gain of 7 in the first.
Good job by Ben Roethlisberger moving around. It's a 3-man rush. So he's going to wait till he sees it cleanly to make the throw. Well, and you're right. Toussaint, nice adjustment. Big first down. Gets out of bounds, saves the timeout.
That was only their second third down conversion of the night. Roethlisberger swings it over to Toussaint. Gets a move to get around Lewis Harris and near another first, and Pittsburgh's got to take a timeout here. And that's a first down.
Cincinnati playing the averages, Jim. Playing soft, let him throw that underneath, get those yards. They used the timeout, but you can't continue that coverage. A couple more completions, 2 timeouts. Extra defensive backs. Look where they all are, how deep everybody is.
Remember, they've lost Kirkpatrick to injury tonight, and most importantly, Reggie Nelson. So they've lost 2 starters in the secondary, the Bengals.
Well, and Leon Hall is not in there also tonight. Who is the extra defensive back? No, he's back in the game now. But Roethlisberger did the right thing, throwing those footballs short and getting in this position. Time is still on his side if he has to throw it short.
Here he is on first down and under pressure. Throws it incomplete. Gilberry and Johnson in the area of Roethlisberger when he threw it.
Well, a little confusion, I think. The lineman going down the field looked like it might be a screen, but then you see Roethlisberger looking down the field.
I couldn't have felt too good on a tender right shoulder, that hit. 2nd and 10. Will Antonio Brown be a factor here? Going to the other side from Brown to Bryant. And Iloka cuts him off, pushes him out. 32 seconds. Only picked up 3.
Antonio Brown basically double covered. They made sure that time he's not going to be the difference in it. And we haven't really seen Ben Roethlisberger give that extra time. Of course, that was a screen. That was going outside all the way.
You just wonder how far downfield he's able to throw it.
That's right.
Third and 7 with 32 seconds. Try to cross him up on the ground. Toussaint got tripped up. That was Michael Johnson who saved what would have, in all likelihood, been a first down carry.
Yeah, it would have been a first down.
Look at this.
Michael Johnson on the ground making a tackle on that is something since he's come back from Tampa Bay. They lost him to free agency. He's back, and he's played the run better this year than he has in his career.
Look at the opening ahead for Toussaint.
Oh, he was going to get the first down. You're right.
Going to be fourth down coming up at Pittsburgh timeout right now at 25 seconds. They have 1 remaining. The play call looked like a solid call. There was just one hand that could stop it.
You're right, trying to catch him off guard. And I think you said it 28 seconds ago. They still have 1 timeout.
They added 3 seconds here on the clock. Timeout, Bengals. Final 1.
Marvin Lewis with Paul Gunther, the defensive coordinator.
Well, first things first for Pittsburgh. Got to convert here.
Well, they got to convert, and you just got to make sure you tell your defense, tackling, if they catch the football, get them to the ground. Don't overplay in a situation like this on the defensive side. That gives the offense that opportunity to make that big play, to get them into field goal range.
Hill's so concerned his miscue could be the difference here. Praying that his defense can somehow end it right now. Fourth and 3. Roethlisberger has the first down. Brown to the 48.
They called the timeout immediately. And they did a great job. Little switch that time by Antonio Brown in the slot to the right side. He goes inside. Heath Miller goes out. That causes confusion, and it gets him away from Leon Hall. Really well-designed play. Look at it, and look at the sharp cut by Antonio Brown. It gets him open.
They're out of timeouts. And they're about, 14 yards away from being able to put them in position that would match the season long by Boswell. But you would think if they got 10 yards now, you would have to bring him out and see if he could convert it from 55. But no timeouts. .22 seconds to go. Roethlisberger from the pocket, middle of the field, incomplete. A flag does come in.
Went to the head.
Lewis Harris is going to be flagged for this on the hit on Antonio Brown, and it's going to put the Steelers in field goal range. Perfect was in there too.
Perfect. It's coming across the field. I saw it. I thought it was him.
Yeah, and I know that they both were in on the coverages at 55 or 37.
Personal foul, defense number 55,
How about
15-yard
that?
penalty, automatic first down.
Perfect in the end.
Definitely took the shot to the head. You could see it live. Marvin Lewis, before this drive started, was talking on the sideline the whole time. It seemed like to Vontez
Whoa.
Perfect, and yes.
Oh my goodness. Brown is still down.
That's, of course, flagrant.
Out of control.
Out of control. It's going to be everything. That's going to be suspension, fine.
It may cost this team a game.
And before this drive started, Marvin Lewis was on the sideline with him, talking to him the whole time to make sure that he controlled his emotions when he went back out on the field.
You know, I don't think that message resonated as much as Marvin tried. Brown is on his feet, and now there's a little flare up again. An official just got pushed. And now if this is just a penalty against Cincinnati, they're just going to make this a chip shot field goal and lose their season over it. Perfect thinks it might be against Pittsburgh.
Well, he just went over to the sideline and pushed his own coach. Whoa. You know, listen, Jim.
This call is huge because it's going to have everything to do with this field goal attempt.
Well, it's huge, but it's sad. I mean, we knew coming into the game that anything you did was going to be watched closely, and the officials, John Perry, they've tried to keep control of this game.
Personal foul, defense number 24, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Adam Jones.
Well,
There's Joey Porter, one of the assistants. He's had, of course, back in his playing days, scrapes. Then he got bumped.
no, it's just, can it get any worse?
No.
And it's just the.
I don't know. It's been in
It's
so
a
many different
terrible
places tonight.
Yes.
Roethlisberger being taken off the field, and a couple
Fans
of
cheering
the fact that he was injured. There have been a couple of times tonight you've wanted to use the word disgraceful, and it's certainly it's what it is.
It's disgraceful in so many fronts by everybody. But you know, I'm not going to blame the officials, Jim. I am not. They have tried. How many flags can they throw? How many penalties?
Well, I'm going to get back to the fact that this young man right here, first-year kicker, has a chance to put the Steelers ahead with 18 seconds to go. What's going to likely be a 35-yard attempt. They're not going to run another play, risk anything. Nobody has any timeouts. And I guess they could have, in theory, run a play and had a spike, but they're going to go ahead and go for the kick that in all likelihood would win it if he makes it. And the kick is drilled, and the Steelers are back ahead at 18-16. Well, again, the last unsportsmanlike penalty on Adam Jones made this all the way down the field to a 35-yard field goal.
I mean, this has got to go down as one of the worst defeats ever imposed on yourself with the penalties.
So it all began with the Hill fumble just after Burfict had made an interception that looked like it could have possibly sealed it, and then the headhunting penalty called against Burfict, and then there's Joey Porter in the middle of things, the former Steeler linebacker, And there's Pac-Man Jones in the middle of it, and he draws a flag that makes the kick only a 35-yarder off the 15-yard penalty. You try to stitch that together, you try to write that story. There's 4 or 5 moments here in the last minute of the game that you just shake your head and you can't believe it. Now you start to wonder, in these final 14 seconds, barring any crazy miracle here, what Roethlisberger's condition will be like, and Antonio Brown for that matter, when they go to Denver next week for the divisional round.
Well, you got to wonder too, the Bengals, Marvin Lewis, this game, how it unfolded, looking for his first playoff victory. You think it's over, we got the football.
Adam Jones. And he runs into Jarvis Jones. Tackled at the 24. 6 seconds to go. Jones was arguing his case to Perry.
Well, it's too late now. And all the great plays and stuff by Adam Jones and Vontaze Burfict. They had highlight reels here tonight in plays they made on the defensive side. None of it will be remembered, of course. Terrible day for the league.
McCarron launching it deep. Batted down by Shazier. And the game is over. The Steelers have come back behind Roethlisberger, re-entering the game and driving them with the aid of penalties to the game-winning field goal. I want to see what's going to happen down here on the field as the Steelers try to hurry to the ramp and to the exit.
Well, there's a lot of debris being thrown down on the field.
Tracy Wolfson, you're down there. Take it away.
That's right, Jim. I'm here with Big Ben. And Ben, first, let me start with that right shoulder. Can you tell us what's going on right now with that injury?
We won the game. That's all that matters.
Why did I know you were going to say that? Well, let's go through this final drive down here. The fumble when you think the game might be over, and then the penalties and all the emotion and the rain. And, oh, by the way, you're playing with one shoulder. Have you ever been through a game like this?
It's an emotional football game. Emotional football players, emotional playoffs, everything. So I'm just so proud of everybody that played, that stepped up. Fitz and Jordan and everybody. O-line did great, and I'm just happy for this team. We got to win. That's all that matters.
How confident are you now you have to face the Broncos next week that you'll be able to play?
We won this game. I'm happy.
Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Mike Tomlin just came over to get him. We're told to get him off the field. And we'll have a rematch in Denver next week of a game that was a beauty on December the 20th when Roethlisberger led the Steelers back from 17 down 27-10 to a 34-27 victory over the Broncos. Right at the end of the game, Marvin Lewis giving an earful to Vontaze Burfict. Adam Jones sobbing. We saw the fans, the same thing. The drought does not end on a rain-soaked night. A vicious, violent game it was. And now we're all set for the AFC divisional round. Kansas City is traveling to Gillette Stadium to take on the Patriots. The Chiefs and the Patriots, that's Saturday on CBS. And then on Sunday, again, Pittsburgh and Denver will meet for the second time in a month. What a sequence of events at the end of this game.
Yeah, it really was. Started with the fumble. Ben Roethlisberger comes back in the game. The 2 personal fouls, the game-winning field goal.
Boswell absolutely split the uprights. And the Steelers advance. Heartbreak here for the Cincinnati fans as the Bengals look like they had it, and then some out-of-control moments at the end cost them their season. Coming up next, the Subway post-game show for Phil, Tracy, Mike Carey, Jim Nance saying so long from Cincinnati. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. James Brown and the crew coming up.